Alrighty, welcome back everybody to our latest live stream. I hope everybody's having a good afternoon or morning so far, depending on where you are. We have a very busy live stream ahead today. We have a large severe weather risk ahead this afternoon and evening across the southern plains, the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, the Mississippi Valley. It's a massive area, and you can see that on the map here. A very large marginal, slight, and even enhanced risk of severe weather for today from the Storm Prediction Center. There's a friendly reminder here that we are going to have another update from the Storm Prediction Center in approximately 25 minutes, so we are obviously going to be live for that. There are probably going to be some changes to this. I wouldn't actually be surprised if we had a small enhanced risk even in southern Illinois or maybe even southern Indiana for later today once we have another round of storms move through those areas. But this live stream is going to be geared towards answering your questions, so if you have questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. We'll be getting them at some point. I'm going to kind of begin here with the forecast, give you an idea of what's happening today, what the risk is. We actually already have severe weather ongoing right now across Indiana with multiple severe storms producing damaging winds. There are also even a couple of those storms with labels that say tornado possible, meaning there is actually some broad rotation with a couple of those storms, so we will be watching those pretty closely as well. All right, let's jump right in though to what is happening right now with the risk, because it has changed from yesterday and I'm expecting it to change even more in the next outlook. This is what the risk is from the Storm Prediction Center. Notice we have an enhanced risk of severe weather across areas in eastern Oklahoma, north and western parts of Arkansas, and southern Missouri. This is going to be our main area to watch for today for a significant tornado potential. So that is the unfortunate thing there, is that we're going to be watching for the potential for a couple of significant tornadoes. And what I mean by that is that there is a potential for strong and maybe even large tornadoes later this afternoon to the evening. Now, it's a low threat overall. It's an isolated threat, but that is the area in particular that has that greatest potential for that risk. Now, further up to the north, we do have a large slight risk of severe weather that extends all the way into areas in the Midwest and back through the Ohio Valley, and it goes all the way down into Texas. Very large slight risk for today. The main concern across this entire region, anywhere in the risked area, is going to be large to very large hail, especially back out here to the west on the western side of this risk. That is where we're watching for the greatest potential for some significant hail. And what I mean by that is that there will be a few storms out there that produce hail between 2 to 4 inches in diameter this afternoon, especially back down in areas like North Texas and as well as into south and eastern parts of Oklahoma. That is where that greatest hail threat, in my opinion, will be today, with the potential again for up to 4-inch diameter hail. And we saw that yesterday in Kansas, where a couple of those storms produced up to 4-inch diameter hail. It's entirely possible that we see that again today in different areas. So definitely make sure that you're protecting your vehicle and protecting your plants as well. And then notice back up here to the north, we do have that slight risk across areas in Illinois, Indiana, and as well as Ohio. That is mainly for the damaging wind threat this morning, but with that being said, I do expect this threat to actually expand. I do think we're going to get an enhanced risk of severe weather somewhere in here this afternoon across areas like southern Illinois and southern Indiana, mainly for the tornado risk and as well as the potential for some significant hail. So this is the current outline for the different risks. We'll begin with the tornado risk. We do have a hatched area for tornadoes across areas in northern and western parts of Arkansas, which does include Little Rock, and as well as southeastern parts of Oklahoma. It actually also goes into northeast Texas, including areas near the Paris, Texas area. So that risk is also in place for those in northeast Texas. And this is going to be an area that we need to watch for very closely this afternoon and evening for a significant tornado potential, meaning a strong or large tornado may be possible in this area. That would include areas near Little Rock as well. Further up to the north, we do have that 5% tornado risk, which means that it's a low to medium tornado risk. This goes anywhere from northeast Texas back into western Ohio. We actually do have a few storms out there right now at that line of storms. You can see it here. These are actually currently producing the potential for some hail and damaging winds, and these are all currently moving to the east right now, but these are the ones that we're gonna have to watch for very closely as well. But overall, the risk of severe weather with these will be going lower and lower as these storms continue to move to the east. We just got a tornado watch, by the way, that was just issued for those in North Texas and as well as back into south and eastern parts of Oklahoma. That should appear here in a second, but we just had a tornado watch issued. Let me get the details pulled up here on screen for you. Sorry to pause away here from the severe weather forecast here, but this is our latest update. This is from the National Weather Service. We now have a tornado watch that was just issued for up to apple-sized hail. That is a widespread threat, according to the National Weather Service. So a couple of strong tornadoes possible. Up to apple-sized hail is possible as well. So again, brand new tornado watch. Again, this was just issued, but should be appearing on the map here in a second. But this is a brand new tornado watch. Goes until about 6 o'clock tonight. This is for eastern and southern parts of Oklahoma. A couple of strong tornadoes are possible. Widespread hail up to apple size is likely, and scatter damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour will be possible. So that is definitely a bit more of a significant threat overall. Again, this is just popping up now. I'll stay on this here for a second. I do have to type out a post really quickly here. So if you're just tuning in, this is the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. They have issued a tornado watch, again, for southern and eastern parts of Oklahoma. This is going to be for those as well. North Texas, this is just appearing now. This is the purple area that we're talking about, that tornado watch. And I'll get back to the forecast here in a second. Just need to post this really quickly here. But yeah, this is going to be an active day. Obviously, we already have a tornado watch. We actually have some storms already ongoing here in Oklahoma. Let's go quickly to the live radar. Notice we already have some thunderstorms developing across areas in Oklahoma. None of these currently are imminent for a tornado risk, but we will have to watch them closely. Tornado watch does go into North Texas. That does include Gainesville, Sherman, Graham. Back near Wichita Falls, goes just west there of Denton, so it does include areas like Decatur and Bowie. This entire risk goes all the way back up into Oklahoma, and this will just be the beginning of a long day here of severe weather across areas in Oklahoma, in Texas, in Arkansas, in Missouri, etc. There's gonna be a lot of areas in the risk today. So that's the latest again from the Storm Prediction Center. All right, let's get back to the forecast, and we'll be talking about this as well a little bit here in a few minutes. But let's get back to what I was talking about with the risk. So again, the main tornado risk today is going to be across areas in eastern Oklahoma and as well as north and western parts of Arkansas. That is where the greatest tornado risk will lie today. Now, in terms of the hail risk and the wind risk, they are a little bit different here, but the wind risk as of now is not an enhanced risk. It's actually one of the lowest threats that we have today is the wind potential. Overall, some scatter damaging winds will be possible anywhere from the Ohio Valley back into areas like Texas, but the threat overall is going to be on the lower side of things. We do have to watch for flying trampolines because there is currently a high risk for flying trampolines today, so make sure that you're hatching down your trampolines. But the greatest concern across the entire board today, this is not even the tornado risk today, it's actually the hail potential. That is what's going to be the greatest concern today. Just like what we had last night, we had tons of hail across areas in Kansas and Missouri. I'm fully expecting that threat to be right back into play today. We have a hatched area that goes from Texas back into Indiana, and that means that we have a potential for up to 2-inch diameter hail or greater in some areas, including areas from Indiana back into northeast Texas. That greatest hail potential will be back down in here across areas in Arkansas, southern Missouri, and as well as eastern Oklahoma. That is where that greatest potential will be. All right, let's go into the future radar, give you an hour-by-hour breakdown. The timestamp will be at the very top of your screen in a moment once it's launched. Actually, it will not be at the top of your screen. I have to fix that. One moment, please. That is not the right display capture. One moment. All right, here we go. This should be better. All right, timestamp is going to be way up here at the top of your screen right there. So that's going to be the timestamp in Central Time. We're going to begin with the Southern Plains in terms of timing, and then we'll eventually go closer to areas like the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. So we'll begin with the first tornado risk today, and that's across areas in Oklahoma and as well as Texas. And again, if you're just tuning in, this is a tornado watch that was just issued. We'll be breaking this down for you in more detail here in just a couple of minutes. This is 12 o'clock this afternoon, so in about 45 minutes, we will have plenty of thunderstorms across areas in Oklahoma. These are really going to ramp up by 1 o'clock though. Notice what we're going to be looking for at 1 o'clock are these hooks on radar. We actually have the HR model actually picks up on this on a couple of storms, but notice those hook echoes. That actually gives you an idea of what we're going to be talking about around 1 o'clock or so, is that we will have a couple of supercells out here across Oklahoma and Texas that are going to be rotating, and they will have the potential to produce a tornado. I do think that greatest risk will be across areas near Interstate 35 between about 12 to 3 o'clock. This is by 2 o'clock. Notice those storms continue to ramp up and move move to the north and east. Again, we'll be watching for that threat of a tornado or two out of these storms, and again, a strong tornado cannot be ruled out of this storm activity. Once we get closer to 3 o'clock, storms are going to become more numerous in nature. We're going to have a much more widespread action of storms by 4 to 5. So notice by 4 to 5 o'clock, storms become much more widespread. What we're going to be watching for in North Texas is mostly going to be large to very large hail. Up to 4 inches in diameter, again, is possible today. That is up to apple-size hail, by the way. That is pretty huge stuff. So make sure, again, that you're protecting your vehicle today. Further to the north, across areas in Fort Smith, back into Missouri, we have multiple areas that will be dealing with some severe weather. Again, mainly a hail threat, but there will be a couple of tornadoes possible. Once we get closer to about 6 to 7 o'clock, these storms continue to move to the east into areas like Arkansas. A lot of this will be large hail and damaging winds, but a strong tornado or two are entirely possible. By 8 o'clock, lots of hailstorms across areas in Arkansas and northeast Texas. By 9 to 10 o'clock, we're going to continue to see ramping up storms along a frontal boundary back over in areas like North Texas and southeast Oklahoma. And eventually, as we go into the overnight hours, a lot of the storm activity will be mainly damaging winds, and this all moves across areas in Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and Arkansas as we go into the overnight hours, eventually into Friday morning. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the timing further to the north, and then I'll get to questions as well. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. We'll be getting to those here in a minute. This is what we're looking at in terms of timing across the Midwest. So the first round of severe storms with that linear line of storms will be moving out of areas in Indiana right around about 1 to 2 o'clock. It will begin to weaken as well. By 2 to 3 o'clock, the area of development that we need to watch for will be right in here. There might be an enhanced risk in this area in our next Storm Prediction Center outlook, which is in approximately 15 minutes. So we will have that in a short while, but we might get an enhanced risk in here. And the reason why is because I am seeing an increased potential here of large hail and damaging winds and even a tornado risk across areas near St. Louis back into southern Illinois. This is right around 4 o'clock. Notice these supercells that'll be firing off. This is what we're going to have to watch for this afternoon in parts of the lower Midwest, because any of these storms will have a little bit higher of a tornado potential with them since they are discrete supercells. This is by 6 o'clock tonight. Notice storms moving across areas near Springfield and as well as across southern Illinois and even in central and southern Missouri. And as we get closer to 8 to 9 o'clock, these storms become a lot more disorganized, but mainly after this, it'll be large hail and isolated damaging winds with maybe a brief tornado. But the window across these areas in southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and Missouri for severe weather will be primarily from about 3 to 9 o'clock this evening, so definitely be mindful. Again, a few tornadoes possible, damaging winds, and as well as some significant hail. And this all turns into a large MCS as we go into the overnight hours, which is a mesoscale convective system. That basically means, in simplistic terms, it's basically a large area of storms, a line of storms that'll be producing some damaging winds and perhaps a couple of embedded tornadoes. And eventually, as we go into tomorrow morning, more severe weather will be possible across the southern tier of the country. This is what we're looking at in terms of a risk for tomorrow. Notice we do have a marginal threat of severe weather from South and North Carolina all the way back through Texas. In addition to that, there is a slight risk of severe weather in southern Texas, mainly for some significant hail. So that's what we're looking at in terms of today's threat and obviously tomorrow's threat. New update on the storm back over in Oklahoma. Let's go to this real quick. There is now a severe thunderstorm warning issued for Duncan, and this is also near Velma. This is in southern Oklahoma. Damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. Quarter-sized hail is possible here. And also further to the north, again, we have multiple storms ongoing in parts of Indiana. None of these are tornado possible labeled anymore, but this one over here near Indianapolis is producing some quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. So two different areas that we're watching for during the late morning and afternoon, including Indiana and Ohio, and as well as back through the southern plains, where again, if you're just tuning in, there is now a tornado watch that has been issued until 6 o'clock Central Time. This does include areas in eastern Oklahoma and as well as in parts of North Texas. So it's a pretty large area for today in terms of the severe weather threat. All right, let's get to some questions in the chat, and let me make sure I get through all the notifications here as well. Thank you, Zombie, by the way, for becoming a minimum velocity member. I appreciate that. Welcome to the Velocities. Thank you. Thank you, Scott, as well, for the $5 super chat. Been watching you for a while. Finally got Radar Omega. Definitely worth the money. I 100% agree with that. Chance for cheese curd sized hail in DFW. I think we're going to be talking about some hail that's larger than the size of cheese curds in DFW today. I'm going to be honest with you. I do think the threat overall is going to be a little bit higher here across areas, especially east and northwest of DFW. Let's go back to the future radar here. we'll go to about 1 o'clock or so. So we're gonna have 2 different rounds of storms here in North Texas, the first of which will be beginning right around 12 to 1 o'clock, and what we're gonna be watching for is this area in particular, the tornado watch, and then a secondary development back over here closer to the mid to late afternoon hours. So I don't know if DFW is going to see a ton of severe weather today. You might be in between both rounds of storms. Now you should still be prepared either way, but what we will be watching for is some significant hail out of this area of development that'll begin closer to the mid to late afternoon. So this is around 4 o'clock or so. Notice lots of thunderstorms there. Those will be mainly hail producers with maybe an isolated tornado. By 5 to 6 o'clock, storms start to expand more in coverage, and then once that frontal boundary moves closer to the DFW area, I do think we will get storms to some extent tonight, but I don't know if we're going to see a whole lot of severe weather out of that round of storms. That develops a little bit later this evening around 8 to 10 o'clock, but I would definitely be prepared for hail. Make sure you're protecting your vehicle, protect plants as well, because it is definitely going to be a very active afternoon, not just in North Texas, but across anywhere in the Southern Plains and even back into areas like the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. Also, thank you, Scott, for becoming a minimum velocity member. I appreciate that. Welcome to the Velocities. Love me some cheese curds. Cheese curd sized hail is in the forecast, but I would say it's going to be definitely larger than cheese curds for a lot of these storms. These are, I'm going to go to the severe thunderstorm warning screen. I wasn't really planning on doing severe weather coverage on this live stream, but we will, in terms of like actually doing severe weather. Let me get this off the screen here. But we will go ahead and do this anyways. We do not have 10 severe thunderstorm warnings, by the way. That is from last night. We have 3. But these are the latest. Again, we do have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings now in Oklahoma. Again, this is the brand new tornado watch that was issued across areas in Oklahoma and North Texas. I am fully expecting, again, more storms than this, obviously, throughout the day today. This is just the beginning of what is to come here across these areas. And this is what it looks like in Norman right now, by the way. Beautiful skies here in Norman. We have like almost, really, there's just some cumulus clouds right now, but they are currently just to the north of where the storm initiation is going to be this afternoon. So they are just out of the way of a lot of the storms right now. All right. How's it going, Euro? Welcome back. This guy could be an auctioneer. I've heard that a lot. Thank you. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. A lot of this stream, again, will be Q&A, so feel free to leave questions in the chat. We'll be going over a lot of the severe weather potential. Again, it's a very large risk today if you're just tuning in. Storm Prediction Center update on the risk outlook is going to be out in approximately 7 minutes. So again, we'll be live for that, obviously, going over initial reaction on whatever happens. I'm currently thinking that there will be some level of an enhanced risk over here in Illinois, perhaps even in parts of southern Indiana. It might be like a thin area, but I do think that that's definitely in play today, mainly for the potential for large to very large hail and perhaps even a couple of tornadoes that might even be strong across areas in southern Illinois. And that enhanced risk might even grow a little bit further back here to the west, and we might see a little bit of an extension to this enhanced risk, maybe just a small one, back into areas near like Gainesville, Texas, for example. Again, small extension possible there. But again, if you're tuning in and you haven't already heard, this is something that we did not mention last night because it wasn't a thing. I mentioned this possibility last night, and they have gone with it that there is now a 10% hatched tornado risk. What that means is that a couple of strong tornadoes will be possible today in this hatched area. That goes anywhere from north and western parts of Arkansas back into eastern Oklahoma. Includes Fort Smith, and includes Little Rock. It includes a lot of northern Arkansas. And it also actually goes near Paris, Texas. So it's a pretty large area overall, and this is where we're going to be watching for supercells that are capable of producing an isolated strong tornado or two this afternoon and evening. So it's definitely, again, going to be a very active day with tornadoes, and the main concern across the entire board here will be significant hail. Hail up to the size of apples will be possible today. So it's going to be, again, a very active day. And also today is Pie Day, by the way. So we could even get some hail the size of pies. And that would be 4-inch diameter pies, if that's a thing. So today is Pie Day, if you've not already heard. Thank you, Crystal, for the $4.99. Do you think Waynesville, Missouri will have a couple, or will have any watches issued in the next couple of hours? Waynesville, Missouri. I don't think you'll have any watches until probably around 2:30, 3 o'clock. So let me go back to the timing on here, the computer models. So this is going to be the future radar, going closer to about 2 o'clock this afternoon. I don't think we're gonna have any watches probably at least until 2 to 3 o'clock this afternoon, so just a little over 2 hours from now. That would be my guess. The main concern will be mainly with these storms that develop this afternoon. Again, there's going to be a second round of storms today, and that's this. That's going to be discrete supercells that have the capability of producing some significant hail and perhaps even an isolated tornado or two across with these different discrete supercells that'll be firing up this afternoon. The main concern is going to exist from about 2 to 8 o'clock, so it's going to be about a 6-hour time frame or so, but these storms in particular will fire off mainly with the tornado risk. We'll get potentially another round of storms along the frontal boundary closer to this evening. These would be more hail producers and damaging wind producers, but I think it'll be a little bit lower of a threat overall. I do think the energy will be used up a little bit more with that second round of storms that I mentioned here around 4 to 5 o'clock this afternoon. So any storms that develop back to the west this evening will mainly be hail producers, but it should be a lower threat overall than what this storm activity will do this afternoon across southern Illinois and eastern Missouri. And again, any of these storms will have the capability of producing very large hail and also a tornado risk. The biggest thing today that we're talking about is very large hail and also, again, the potential for a few tornadoes across this entire area. Getting some reports, by the way, on these storms now of some quarter-sized hail, specifically back near Duncan. And again, these storms currently ramping up quickly in the brand new tornado watch that was issued in parts of Oklahoma and as well as North Texas. This is an area that we're watching for some supercellular development this afternoon. This is a live cam out of German, Texas. This is an area that we actually could see a supercell develop pretty quickly in, but as of now, looks to be just mostly sunny skies. Definitely a few cumulus clouds out there, and it looks like a severe weather day just by the look of the sky. So that'll definitely be something to watch for later this afternoon. All right, let me get back to chat here. Thank you, Carl, by the way, for the $9.99. I appreciate that. No message, but I appreciate your generosity. Thank you. And also, thank you, Brandy, for becoming a moderate Velocity member. I appreciate that. Welcome to the Velocities. Thank you. Also, thank you, Sandy, for the $9.99. I appreciate that. For some pie. I appreciate it. It is Pie Day. Make sure to get some pie if you're able to today. Max has a voice that makes me want to hear him do sports highlights. You know, funny enough, my my backup plan, if meteorology fell through or something like that, you know, down the road, my backup plan is actually being a sports commentator. Fun fact. There's no reason to be scared today. Can't stress that enough. Again, there's no reason to be scared. I know it's an enhanced risk. I know it's a higher level risk. One of the highest risks that we've had all year long thus far. And obviously it's covering a large area. But there's no reason to panic. There's no reason to, again, be scared by any means. What you should be doing is just making sure that you have multiple ways to receive alerts, have a tornado action plan in place, and you will be fine. I don't think there's any reason here to really panic, though. I mean, yes, there's going to be a few tornadoes today. The odds of you getting hit by a tornado statistically are extraordinarily low, even with a risk like this. And the reason why is because tornadoes are usually very isolated events. So keep that in mind. But there's really no reason to panic. Again, no reason to worry. Just stay calm. Take some deep breaths in, deep breaths out, and you'll be fine. Just make sure you have a tornado action plan in place, multiple ways to receive alerts. That's really the best thing that you can do with this sort of event. Storm has actually been upgraded now to ping pong ball sized hail, by the way, south of Oklahoma City. So this particular storm now up to ping pong ball sized hail near Duncan. Again, this storm beginning to intensify further near Velma and Duncan. And that is the hail core, by the way, right here. So that right there would be your ping pong ball sized hail moving northeast at this time. All right, let me go back up here. Thank you, Sandy, for your very generous $20 super chat. I appreciate that a lot, Sandy. Thank you. Hope you're doing well. Sandy, by the way, is a OG member. He's been around for about 2 years almost now here on YouTube. Thank you, Sailor, for the $2 super chat. Stay hydrated tonight. It's going to be crazy. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. I'm not sure what we're doing exactly for a live stream today. I was trying to think about what we're going to do today for a live stream. I have zero clue. I mean, this live stream is going to probably be separate from the main severe weather live stream if we have one later today. But I have no clue. I really have no clue yet, because this is my dilemma right now. So we do North. So for those that are new to the channel, we have North Texas Weather Center on Facebook. It's a very big page, about 120,000 followers or whatever, and it's a big part of what I do as well. I mean, obviously YouTube, we do a lot on here, but Facebook's also a big deal as well. So the dilemma right now is, do we do a North Texas Weather Center live stream, do a couple of those for emergency updates, because it's going to be active there too, and I'm going to be having to post frequent updates throughout the day, or do we do something that's just more of everything? So I'm still making that decision. We'll figure that out at some point, but it's really kind of up in the air right now. Thank you, Shaw, for the $20 super chat. I appreciate that. Are there any storms in Iowa today? Iowa's kind of done with severe weather. You might get a couple of storms, but I wouldn't be expecting any severe weather there. Thank you again for your also generous $20 super chat. I know there's going to be other people live on YouTube as well, so obviously there will be live coverage if I'm not live. So my dilemma really at this point will just be kind of deciding what I want to do in terms of coverage today. I'm not entirely sure yet. We had a 4-hour live stream yesterday, and that was obviously very busy, and I also do not want to try to lose my voice today, but it's entirely possible. Thank you, Maximus, for the $4.99. Just going into the DFW Metro is the tornado threat, just for the initial supercells. So it's not just the initial supercells. There's going to be a couple of different areas to watch for. Let me go back to the future radar again. I think the HRR model lays this out perfectly with what we're going to be looking at this afternoon. So let's go back to that here. Not sure if this model run's any different. Yeah, it's a little bit different. Let's go to the 12Z model run here. So this is this afternoon, so this is right around 1 o'clock. This gives you a pretty good idea of what we're talking about. So there will be two different areas that we're watching for in North Texas, and the first one is going to be back over near the Wichita Falls area, pretty much in northwest North Texas, so anywhere from about Gainesville and westward. We're going to be watching for an isolated discrete supercell or two, so there'll probably be one or two that we'll be watching for here that'll develop. These will be moving north and east. These are going to be the ones that we need to watch for that are discrete, and they will have the greatest tornado potential, and this is because we have a lot of shear in this environment. It's a very favorable environment here for a potential for even a strong tornado may exist with a storm like this. So this will be between about 12 to 2 o'clock this afternoon. Eventually, as we get closer to 3 to 4 o'clock, we're gonna have another round of storms develop. So we're gonna continue to watch for a couple of storms here that will develop across areas in northwest North Texas with that tornado risk, but it's really gonna increase more across areas in eastern and southern North Texas during this afternoon. And this is where I do expect a much greater hail potential with a slightly lower tornado risk comparatively to what we'll be watching for in northwest North Texas. But with that being said, some significant hail, damaging winds, perhaps an isolated tornado will come out of these storms that end up developing across areas just south and east of DFW. So be watching out for that. Eventually, as we get closer to 8 o'clock or so, more storms will continue to fire up across areas just east of Interstate 35, producing the potential for some significant hail, as well as some damaging winds and maybe an isolated tornado. And once that frontal boundary gets closer to DFW, there will likely be another round of storms that develops closer to about 10 o'clock tonight, and that will be mainly some large hail with isolated damaging winds, but that will be a much more isolated threat in nature compared to the other two rounds of storms that we will be dealing with. And if you're just tuning in, by the way, we are waiting on the Storm Prediction Center update for today. That is going to be issued here at any moment, so we'll be keeping a close eye on that. All right, I missed a lot of notifications here. Thank you, Michael, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate that. I am from Wisconsin. Cheese curds can be huge. How large, though? Are we talking like 4 inches in diameter? Because, I mean, if cheese curds can go to 4 inches in diameter, we can definitely consider that a thing in terms of hail. By the way, if you are in Oklahoma, heads up, this storm is rapidly intensifying near Duncan, Oklahoma. This storm is now up to 2-inch diameter hail and 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds. This is your hail core right there. Very large area of hail currently just east of Duncan. And that white and black that you're seeing there, that is a significant hail core. Again, up to 2-inch diameter hail. Thank you, Guy, as well, for the $9.99. I appreciate that again, Guy. Thank you very much for your generosity. Thank you, Tud, as well, for the $19.99. I appreciate all of you, your generosities. Thank you. It's not, I don't even think that's a word, but thank you. I appreciate that. And also, thank you, Dave, for becoming a Minimum Velocity member. I appreciate that. And also, thank you, Purple, for becoming a Minimum Velocity member. Welcome to the Velocities. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, this hail core is rapidly developing. Again, 2-inch sized hail and 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds moving north and east. Again, this will be heading towards areas eventually down the road towards Maysville and Pauls Valley, but right now just east of Duncan. Highly electrified storm, by the way. That storm is producing a ton of lightning. Let's see if we have any sort of live cams that we can go off of here. Not sure if we do. I think we have a couple. It's gonna be a thing though if we actually have a view of this. Yeah, unfortunately the cameras are just aiming too low. Yeah, we got multiple severe storms again. We do have a tornado watch in Oklahoma and Texas until 6 o'clock today. Again, this is the first of many tornado watches that'll be issued today. And this storm already producing a lot of hail. All right, we do have a new Storm Prediction Center update that just came out. Not actually seeing a whole lot of updates here in terms of the risk. Looks like some minor changes. All right, so this has been updated on here as well. So this is the latest from the Storm Prediction Center, the latest outlook change. Not any major changes, but there are some changes that are notable. So we do have that tornado watch ongoing. They have pushed the enhanced risk actually further back to the west. So now does include Gainesville. It now does include areas near Denton County and as well as Collin County. And it also goes all the way near Decatur. So that enhanced risk is extended further to the west. Slight risk is also further back to the west, which now does include areas in that tornado watch more than anything. I don't think there's any other major changes here. I don't have the other update pulled up on here, but I think that's really the main changes here to this outlook. Tornado risk is still a 10% hatch for this afternoon. That has not changed. Hail risk is pretty much the same, maybe some minor changes to that, but that's about it for the Storm Prediction Center update. Not anything too major, it doesn't look like. I'm going to see if they have any new notes on here. But their summary for today: very large hail, damaging winds, a few tornadoes are expected from parts of north central Texas into the Midwest. The greatest severe weather threat appears to be across eastern Oklahoma and far north Texas into the Ozarks. But yeah, not any major changes to this. I mentioned that there might be an enhanced risk back up in southern Illinois, maybe southern Indiana. They have not added that, but they always could add that at the 3 p.m. outlook later today, so that's entirely possible. Quick update: we do have now a tornado possible back up in Indiana. Let's go to that. We do have a new severe thunderstorm warning issued back up near Bluffton and Decatur, Indiana. This is a tornado possible. We actually have rotation right now located over Bluffton. So rotation developing near Bluffton. If you're near the Decatur area, stay very weather aware here, including Bluffton. This will be going into northwest Ohio here pretty soon, but this is a developing area of rotation here over the last several minutes. Definitely could produce a tornado at any time. So again, stay very weather aware. The storm is currently moving to the east. Thank you, Shadow, for the $2 super chat. The volumetric 3D radar shows cap at 52,000 feet. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that. That's definitely a tall thunderstorm. Thank you, Fleet, for the $4.99. What's the outlook for Fishers, Indiana today? Let me find where that is. That's near Indianapolis. So main concern really anywhere in the Indianapolis area will be some isolated large hail later today. That'll be out of that second round of storms. You've already seen the damaging winds this morning. There will be maybe an isolated supercell later today that produces large to even perhaps very large hail. But I do think the risk near Indianapolis is going to probably be on the lower side of things. So I'm not as concerned about that area in my opinion. I think the more concerning area would be southern Indiana and southern Illinois. Central Indiana could definitely still see the potential for some large hail, though. Thank you, X, for the $2 super chat. What are you expecting for Jonesboro, Arkansas today? I also need to find where that is. I think that's on the northeast side of the state, but I just want to confirm. All right, yeah, Jonesboro is on the northeast side of the state. So I think overall the main concern would be the potential there for some significant hail. Again, that's really the main concern across the board. There's also going to be a chance for some damaging winds and perhaps maybe an isolated tornado. I think they're on the cusp of that 10% hatched area. I think more than anything, though, in the Jonesboro area in particular, I do expect more of a damaging wind threat and maybe some large hail. I don't expect nearly as much of a tornado risk there. But obviously, make sure that you are monitoring the weather very closely. Multiple ways to receive alerts and a tornado action plan in place just in case. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, this is a storm back up in Indiana that is currently on a tornado possible label. Again, we're really mostly focused on answering questions in this live stream, but we are going to do some intermittent severe weather coverage. So that does include this storm in particular. We also have a storm right now down in Oklahoma. That's near Velma, Oklahoma. That's producing 2-inch sized hail and 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds. So there's a lot of stuff happening already. It's going to be a very active day. Thank you, Rose, for the $2 super chat. What about Fort Wayne, Indiana? I think really this will be your main round of storms. You might get something isolated later today, but I don't think you'll see much more beyond what is happening right now. Thank you, Blossom, for the $4.99. Does Southeast Michigan have to worry about tornadoes? Not really. There is a 2% tornado risk there, but honestly, I would be kind of surprised if we had any tornadoes there. Be mindful around this evening. There might be an isolated storm or two between like 5 to 8 o'clock, but I wouldn't be overly concerned, to be honest, about a tornado risk there. I know there is one. The tornado risk actually goes all the way up into southern Michigan, but again, I'm not concerned about that tonight. All right, that storm, by the way, a little bit weakening rotation. We will still watch it closely. We are beginning to watch storms developing closer to areas now in North Texas, but we do have a storm developing quickly near the Waurika area, and this one is currently producing some golf ball sized hail. This is a rapidly developing storm as well. We are actually starting to get, it looks like, a little inflow on this storm, so we definitely could get a tornado risk out of this eventually. And then multiple storms across areas near Duncan back into Oklahoma. These are producing the potential for hail up to 2 inches in diameter and as well 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Again, these are currently moving northeast, but definitely an increasing severe weather risk right now across Oklahoma. That tornado risk will grow more as we get closer to the early afternoon, so probably in about 45 minutes to an hour. That's when that threat will really start to ramp up. All right. Thank you, Austin, for the $1.99. What about Tyler, Texas? Tyler, Texas in particular, anywhere over there near the Tyler area, it's mostly going to be a potential for large hail. That'll be between about 3 to 10 o'clock or so. It's a pretty elongated threat. Main concern will be large to very large hail. Maybe an isolated tornado, maybe some damaging winds, but I'm most concerned about the hail threat. So definitely make sure, again, that you're protecting your vehicle and obviously, again, staying weather aware today. And I bet a lot of you in this live stream are obviously going to be staying weather aware. And what I mean by that is just making sure that you are watching the radar closely and monitoring all alerts, and whether that's watching a live stream or whatever it might be, that's kind of up to you to decide. But obviously just being weather aware, making sure that you are not getting caught outside at an outdoor event during a thunderstorm, because that can definitely not be fun. It's ugly in Duncan, Oklahoma. Yeah, it definitely is. If anybody has any photos, by the way, of these storms, you can feel free to tweet me on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. If you have any photos of these storms, feel free to send them in there. I bet these are pretty nice looking storms when it comes to being a distance away from them, as these are the initial supercells, so that's going to be really clear skies for the most part, and then you'll see the towering cumulus clouds from a distance. Thank you, MMS, for the $1.99. How's it look for Bloomington, Indiana? I need to figure out where that is first. Bloomington is in that potential there for significant hail later today, as well as an isolated tornado. Now, it's going to be mostly isolated, discrete supercells, so the chances of you seeing a storm, probably about 30 to 40% when it comes to at least like a severe storm. So just be making sure that you're staying weather aware, again, taking the proper precautions, but protecting your plants, hatching down your trampoline, all that sort of stuff. But I would say the main concern there will be large to very large hail with maybe an isolated tornado as well. And also thank you, Victoria, for the $5 super chat. Thank you for your storm coverage today. I appreciate your generosity. Thank you. They did remove the NATO threat from Michigan. Did they? I know that was there earlier, so let's see. Yeah, they did actually. So the 2% tornado risk is actually no longer including southern Michigan. Now, that doesn't mean there can't be a tornado. It just means the risk is too low for there to be a 2% tornado risk, which basically means it's next to zero in terms of a tornado risk. We are getting some rotation. This is again north of Ryan. This is in southern Oklahoma near the Waika area, or Waika, near Addington. This will be going toward Comanche and eventually going toward Velma. But we are beginning to get some rotation on that storm. Don't be surprised with a early tornado warning on that. Wow, look at this. This is in German Texas. If you guys were watching about 20 minutes ago, we looked at this live cam briefly. There was hardly a cloud in the sky. Storms are blowing up fast here. There's clouds everywhere. And again, this is live. Wow, it changed quickly in 20 minutes. Is there going to be a 30% wind risk? I don't really expect that to be upgraded. No, I don't think so. If we did have that, it would be probably in Arkansas for the threat later tonight. I would say more than anything, though, hail is really the main concern across the board. Now, with all this being said, we do have a high risk of flying trampolines. All right. So it's tossing trampolines on Tall Trees Thursday, as all of you know here. It is a tossing trampolines on Tall Trees Thursday. So big day, obviously, but we do have now a high risk of flying trampolines. Let me expand this a little bit here. But yes, we have a high risk of flying trampolines today, so make sure that you're hatching down your trampolines. Anywhere from the Midwest all the way back through the southern plains with these severe storms. Definitely in play there for several flying trampolines today. I'm forecasting over a dozen trampolines to go flying today across areas from Texas back into Illinois. So definitely make sure that you're hatching your trampolines down or just flipping them over so they don't fly away. And tomorrow is Flying Fences Friday, but today is Tossing Trampolines on Tall Trees Thursday. And I bet tossing trampolines on Tall Trees Thursday will be a very active time this year. It's going to be very active this year. Every Thursday, we're probably going to have severe weather. Thank you, Hannah, by the way, for the $3 Venmo. Is it strange that I'm looking forward to a storm? Not necessarily. I mean, it depends on who you are, all right? I mean, if you're scared, I mean, a lot of people are scared of severe weather and tornadoes and all that sort of stuff. But a lot of the time for me, like whenever there is a risk of severe weather, I just kind of embrace it. You know, I think it's an interesting experience either way it goes. Now, a lot of the time when you're under a risk of severe weather, you actually don't see severe weather. A lot of the time you don't get a whole lot of severe weather. But the times that you do, obviously severe weather can cause damage. But if it's just an ordinary thunderstorm, I'm usually the kind of person that just kind of embraces it. But if there's severe weather, it can definitely be a bit more scary. Now, in this case, a lot of these storms will be severe weather producers. They're not going to mostly be ordinary. Now, we do have ordinary storms down in Texas right now, but these are just developing. They are going to become severe very quickly with this sort of environment. So, again, it depends on really who you are, in my opinion. I used to be the kind of person that hated storms, though. Like, absolutely hated them. Thank you, Megan, for the $5 super chat. Will Spring Hill, Tennessee get anything tomorrow? You probably will. It'll mostly be during the morning, damaging winds being the main concern there. I don't expect much of a tornado risk. And thank you, Jake, for the $4.99. How's it looking for Fort Wayne, Indiana? Anywhere in the Fort Wayne area back in northern Indiana, it's mainly just the round of storms that you're seeing now. After that, I'm not expecting much more today. So, damaging winds being possible. Also, thank you, Justin, for becoming a minimum velocity member. I appreciate that. Welcome to the Velocities. Welcome back. You know, Fort Worth has a chance of storms anytime between literally like it's a large time frame, but basically any time between now and about 10 o'clock or so, even up to 11 o'clock, they have a chance of storms. Now, I think the main concern will be between about 4 to 12 o'clock or so today. Main concern will be large to very large hail with maybe an isolated tornado. So if you're in the DFW area, that's what I'm expecting. Here's a live look at German Texas, by the way. This is a storm that is rapidly developing. We got our towering cumulus clouds here and a rain shaft you can see there in the background. And if you were at last night's live stream, we were covering the severe weather in Kansas, and we actually had a tornado on the live stream last night. That was back over near Alta Vista. Now, I have had people asking what was the intensity of that tornado. I do not know yet. I don't think there's been a confirmed survey yet, but the National Weather Service is probably doing surveys as we speak, but we probably will not know until a little bit later today. Thank you, John, for the $4.99 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. I also got one up in Norman, Oklahoma, but I don't think this is looking the right direction. Look at all those. Look at all the dark skies there in the background. I believe this is actually looking southeast, the cyclone port on radar Omega. This is looking southeast, I believe. But that's lots of ominous skies there. Yeah, that has to be looking southeast. These clouds are going northeast, so yeah, this is looking southeast from Norman, Oklahoma. And this is again live. All the dark clouds here across Oklahoma. And that is all due to the severe storms that we have further down to the south. This storm here is intensifying rapidly near Route 70. Not really a whole lot of rotation, but definitely a huge hail core right now near Route 70. And this is probably upwards of tennis ball sized hail now. That is just to the west of the Ardmore area. Now, it's a slow moving storm moving northeast, so it's not going toward Ardmore, but areas like Wynwood down the road and Tatum's will be in the track of this eventually. Thank you, Zach, as well, for the $5 Venmo. What's the weather looking like for Trenton, Texas? I will have to look that up. Trenton, Texas. So that's in northeast North Texas. So the main concern anywhere in this area, primarily just east of DFW, will be large hail between about 3 to about 9 o'clock this afternoon and evening. That'll be the main concern, perhaps up to about 10 to 11 as well. But that'll be the main round of storms. Main concern, though, is large to very large hail, perhaps even an isolated brief tornado or two in this area. But I think the main concern overall, it's going to be a cluster of storms. It's going to develop pretty quickly. I'm expecting mostly that threat to be large to very large hail. And then damaging winds is also a threat, but it's definitely one of the lower threats. It's higher than a tornado threat, but it's lower than the hail threat by quite a bit. I'm addicted to your channel. Nice. That's an interesting comment. All right. This is Max's homeland. Yes, this is, I mean, North Texas in particular, this is an area that we've been doing for 5 years now. I have a lot of experience doing North Texas weather, in particular, and even Oklahoma. So this is definitely a home territory for us here on the Max Velocity channel. Thank you, John, for the $4.99. Likelihood of tornadoes in Worcester, Oklahoma today. I'll have to find out where that is. Tornado risk over there is actually elevated. That's really the highest area today. So this is the tornado probabilities for today. And then back over in the Worcester area, that is basically near Fort Smith here. But the greatest tornado risk, in my opinion, will be this afternoon, probably around 4 to 8 o'clock. That's going to be probably the peak time. I do expect that tornado risk to really be the greatest in this area here. I think it becomes a little bit more disorganized here, but I do think the greatest tornado risk will be in southeast and east Oklahoma, back into western Oklahoma. Let me go to the tornado parameter values as well. This is the HRR model's tornado parameters. Now, the tornado parameters give you an idea at least of the tornado risk today to some extent. Values between 1 to 10, 10 being the greatest potential, and then 1 being a relatively low threat overall. And so you won't be able to see the numbers, but basically yellow and greater is usually where the greatest tornado risk is. But this is about 1 to 2 o'clock. Notice the tornado parameters on the HRR in particular. They are showing some little higher or more like green and yellow colors there. That would represent higher values overall, meaning that the tornado risk would be a little bit more elevated there around 4 to 5 o'clock this afternoon. And then right along where those storms are this afternoon, this is where we'll be watching for that tornado risk to be the greatest. We have a strong southwesterly flow. We have a very favorable wind profile here in the atmosphere where there should at least be a couple of tornadoes in this area, maybe even a few. Eventually by 6 to 7 o'clock, the HRR model in particular is actually not super on board with super high values on the tornado parameters, which doesn't necessarily mean we will not see tornadoes. It just means the HRR model doesn't think we're going to see as many tornadoes as the Storm Prediction Center, for example, thinks. But the thing I would be more concerned about with this particular setup is not necessarily the tornado parameter values, but the wind shear, because we have a lot of wind shear in this environment. Again, very strong southwesterly flow in the low-level jet that can help to rotate supercells. Even though the HRR doesn't show a whole lot of that with the tornado parameters, it's just one computer model and it's not always right, so just keep that in mind. But I do think the greatest tornado risk will really come in the mid to late afternoon hours, especially near the Fort Smith vicinity. There will be a tornado risk in central Arkansas and northern Arkansas as well tonight. I just think the threat will be comparatively a little bit lower to areas back over here to the west. And I think that greatest tornado risk, if it does end up developing here in Arkansas, will probably be back down in here. I don't think the northern side of the state will be nearly as favorable for that. But that's my forecast, at least for this particular event. But I do think the greatest tornado risk, in my opinion, will be across areas in eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas. That's, again, my opinion. And I also think there will be a slightly more elevated tornado risk as well back up in here. Whether it's anywhere from about Jefferson City and St. Louis all the way back through Bloomington, that would be also another area that I would be watching for. Now, again, they are not under a 10% hatched area, but I do think there will be at least a couple of tornadoes across that region with the discrete supercellular development that happens later today. Still got a massive hailstorm ongoing in southern Oklahoma. This is west of Ardmore. Storm is continuing to intensify, still producing 2-inch sized hail, 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds. And then just south and east in Norman, we do have a elongated area of storms. And this is all associated with both a severe thunderstorm warning and a flash flood warning. This goes from Seminole all the way back through Pauls Valley. The main concern, again, right now is going to be quarter-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Frequent lightning, and also the potential for some flash flooding does exist. But storms are quickly ramping up. Here's Sherman, Texas right now. Live picture here of storms developing rapidly as well in northwest North Texas. Thank you, Lucy, by the way, for becoming a 12-month minimum velocity member. I appreciate that. Thank you. I woke up about an hour ago, fun fact. Or a little over an hour ago. If you're wondering what app I'm using, it is Radar Omega. You can download it with the link near the bottom of the description. EP said in chat, my area a few weeks ago wasn't a 2% chance of tornadoes and we had 6, so you don't need to be in that 10%. Yeah, you don't. I mean, we have had some crazy severe weather events in the past that have legitimately been 2% tornado risks. It happens a lot, actually. You don't need to be in that 10% area for there to be tornadoes, so don't get too caught up in the risk level, though. That's where basically what this is saying with the tornado risk is where the greatest confidence is of tornadoes. And obviously the Storm Prediction Center is on board right now with this area being that greatest risk for tornadoes, and even potentially a couple of strong tornadoes. But that doesn't mean that you will not be able to see tornadoes elsewhere. I mean, we have a 5% tornado risk that is huge. That goes from anywhere from North Texas back into Western Ohio. It's a very large area. And again, I think the main 2 areas today will be right in here. So this area, and as well as back over into here. That's honestly where I think the main 2 areas will be today for a tornado risk. Now, again, that's my opinion. This is everything's a forecast here. I mean, that's not obviously for certain, but that's what I'm thinking today in terms of the tornado risk, in terms of where I think that greatest tornado potential will be. And I also think over the short term, the greatest tornado risk will be in here as well. So, or not Wichita Falls, but basically in this area here. I do think the greatest tornado risk will be in northwest Texas, or northwest North Texas, back into southern Oklahoma. That's over the short term. Now that's like over the next like hour or 2. But yeah, we covered the, we've covered severe weather events, you know, we've covered a bunch of them, and I do have to say that some of the 2% tornado risks do surprise. And we had a 5% tornado risk yesterday, and we had a strong tornado most likely happen near Alta Vista. Now, we had a confirmed tornado. It's unknown if it was strong, but the velocities on radar were some of the strongest that I've ever seen. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. Thank you, Shadow, for the $2 super chat. Any rotation north of Asher, Oklahoma? Let me check on that. Embedded in this huge cluster. I kind of doubt it. This is a really large area of storms. It's very unlikely, but I will check it out here. Actually, there was a little bit near the mod area, if that's how you say that. And there's actually a little bit near the Byers area, but it's relatively weak, and it's all embedded in all these thunderstorms, which makes it pretty difficult for there to be a tornado out of this. This is a very unorganized cluster of storms that is currently ongoing. Sorry, I just hit my space bar. But yeah, overall, not really much rotation there right now. I wouldn't say it's concerning at this point. It wouldn't be something that I'd be concerned about long term. Also, thank you, William, for the $1 super chat. Thank you. Let's see. I don't think I missed anything else here. All right, yeah, I got everything. All right, cool. Let's go back to the live chat here. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. If you're just tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we do live streams like this all the time. We'll keep you posted with the latest on severe weather today. And if you're enjoying the stream, finding it informative, make sure to like the stream. There's no reason to be terrified, no reason to be scared. Again, I mentioned this before, but really, you should not be panicking about this event. I know a lot of you, again, have some, fear of severe weather and stuff. The biggest thing that you need to do today is just take some deep breaths, just have multiple ways to receive alerts, have a tornado action plan in place. And whether that, and what I mean by that, by the way, tornado action plan, what I mean by that is make sure you know where you're going if you're under a tornado warning, whether that is a basement, a storm shelter, a closet in an interior room of your home or building, a bathroom, whatever it is. Make sure you have that plan in place before you're under a tornado warning, which again, not everybody's going to be under a tornado warning today. Not everybody's going to see hail today. Not everybody's going to even see damaging winds today. A lot of you won't even see severe weather today, for the record. A lot of you will not see severe weather today, but those that do, you are going to have the potential for large hail, damaging winds, and even a tornado risk. So you definitely want to make sure that you do have multiple ways to receive alerts and take the proper precautions. But there's really no reason to panic here. I can't stress that enough. Thank you, Yoshi, for the $5 super chat. Anything I need to worry about in Carroll Stream, Illinois? All this talk is about cheese curds is going to make me get double cheese curds from Culver's. So I'm not expecting anything in Carroll Stream. I don't think the Chicago suburbs are going to really see much more today. I do think the severe weather risk at this point is it's dwindling. The main concern really was earlier today. But yeah, overall, not really concerned about the Chicago suburbs. Also, thank you, Tracy, for becoming a moderate velocity member. I appreciate that. Thank you. I don't know if that's new or that's old, but my notification just came in. I don't see it in chat, so I don't know. I wish we had cheese curds here. Cheese curds are amazing. Highly recommend. Now, if you're just tuning in, this is the risk level for today. We do have an enhanced risk across areas in southern Missouri, north and western parts of Arkansas, back into eastern Oklahoma and north Texas. Again, from the latest outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, they have issued a 10% tornado risk, which does include areas anywhere from northeast Texas back into Arkansas. And that is a hatched area now, so there is a chance for a strong tornado or two. And also, there is a tornado watch until 6 p.m. Central Time. That does include areas in eastern Oklahoma, southern Oklahoma, and as well as back through north Texas. And the Storm Prediction Center just came out with an update on the storms that are ongoing in Indiana. They are monitoring the storms right now, and they may extend the severe thunderstorm watch a little bit further to the east. It looks like they already have in Cincinnati, but they may extend it a bit further east over the next little while in case the storms continue to stay severe, which right now they're all strong, but we will still be watching that closely. Some damage reports across Indiana, including some scattered tree limbs that are broken, and yeah, a lot of tree limbs broken for the most part. Haven't seen any major reports, though, across Indiana from those storms. Ping pong ball-sized hail apparently happened earlier as well, so it's definitely been active. All right, let's go back down to Texas. Let me take off the overlay here, and let's go to a couple of these live cams. Let's see if anything's happening. So this is over near Norman. It's gotten pretty dark here. We were looking at this live cam about a half an hour ago. There was hardly a cloud in the sky. Now it's all ominous and dark. This is looking southeast toward the huge cluster of storms that's ongoing in this tornado watch. That is a flash flood warning right now that's in effect as well across areas just south and east of Norman, and also near German, Texas. Impressive cloud base here, but storms attempting to fire up here in North Texas. Again, these will be producing mainly some large hail and potentially an isolated tornado or two. Again, a strong tornado is possible anywhere in that tornado watch, so keep that in mind this afternoon. Thank you, Haley, for the $4.99. The sun is out in the Wabash County area of Illinois. Will this fuel the severe storms this afternoon? Let me find where that is, because I don't know what that county is. Depending on where this county is, it will make a big difference. Yes, that will. Yeah, back down in southeast Illinois, that definitely will. And that's an area that I mentioned earlier that I'm most concerned about, large to very large hail, but there is probably at least going to be an isolated tornado or two across anywhere from about the Jefferson City area of Missouri back into southwest Indiana. Again, it's a large area relatively. You're not going to, I mean, the tornado risk, again, it's on the low side, but obviously be weather aware there. That would be included in that area where I do think there's a slightly more elevated risk of a tornado. Also, thank you, Bub, for the $2 super chat. Russellville, Arkansas. I will check it out. Don't know where that is. Russellville is also in the 10% hatch tornado risk. I honestly think the main concern will be large to very large hail with maybe an isolated tornado there. And that's really about it. And also some damaging winds being possible. So, but I do think the tornado risk gets a little bit lower in that area. I honestly think that's, again, my personal opinion. I think the greatest tornado risk will be in western Arkansas and back into eastern Oklahoma. Russellville's kind of in that vicinity. So obviously stay weather aware, but I'll be most concerned about large to very large hail. But again, make sure you have a tornado action plan in place this afternoon and evening and have multiple ways to receive alerts. New severe thunderstorm warning was just issued for the Henrietta area. This is for the potential for quarter-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. So this warning was just issued in northwest North Texas. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Doing a lot of multitasking. All right. Thank you, Kyle, for the $19.99. What do you think about the DFW Metro today? And also, thank you very much for your generous $19.99. The DFW Metro is going to be one of those areas where I think it's going to be very interesting because we're going to have like 3 different rounds of storms. It's not going to be 1, it's not going to be 2, it's going to be 3. So let me go back through the future radar here. This gives you a pretty good representation of what we're going to be talking about today in terms of storm activity. I do think North Texas is a very interesting area today. Very interesting. So this is what we're talking about this afternoon. So we'll go to 1 o'clock or so. Again, really, we're gonna have multiple rounds of storms. The first one is gonna be up in northwest North Texas. I don't think this will be impacting DFW. This is not really gonna be going that direction. These storms will be moving southwest to northeast, and that'll be mostly going into Oklahoma with an isolated strong tornado or two being possible out of those storms. What we need to watch for this afternoon will be this large cluster of storms that's gonna fire up later this afternoon, and this is what's gonna be really, in my opinion, the most concerning when it comes to the severe weather threat across all of North Texas. mainly because this will be producing the potential for some significant hail and maybe even an isolated tornado closer to about 4 to 5 o'clock this afternoon. Eventually, as we get closer to 6 to 7, still some lingering thunderstorms that could still be severe across areas near the DFW Metroplex and also back near Longview, Texas. What becomes interesting, though, is once that frontal boundary pushes further to the east, we'll likely get a third round of storms developing this evening. This will mostly be isolated damaging winds and isolated large hail. I emphasis isolated because it is going to be an isolated risk overall out of this cluster, but I'll be watching for that potential of some isolated damaging winds and hail. Eventually, as we get closer to midnight and into the overnight hours, those storms begin to weaken, but that'll be mainly what we're watching for today. So 3 different rounds of storms. The ones that we'll have to watch for, though, in the DFW area will be between about 4 to 12 o'clock. All right, I had to save another photo there for Facebook. All right. Thank you, Andrew, for the $9.99. Appreciate your generosity as well. About to drive from Fayetteville, Arkansas to Dallas. Do you suggest I find an alternate route that doesn't go through Oklahoma? Let me see. I don't know how long of a trip that even is. Fun fact, I've never been to Arkansas before. Or actually, I have once, but it's very brief. It's kind of a personal preference, in my opinion. Like, I don't know what other route you would take. Just gonna be honest. Like, I don't know what other route. Like, I'm looking at maps here, and I don't see a route that would void Oklahoma entirely. So I don't 100% know, because I don't see a route that would avoid it. Considering that you'd probably be in the state for a few hours. I'm guessing it'd be taking like Route 69 or something. I mean, let's go back through the future radar here. Just kind of get an estimated timing here. I mean, storms would be over that interstate, right, or over that route around 3 o'clock. So, it's kind of up to you. I mean, you will probably be driving through storms if you go into Oklahoma, almost undoubtedly at this point, unless you waited. But I don't know where else you would go. I don't know if you would like go to Little Rock and then drive down this way. I mean, you're going to run into storms almost undoubtedly either way, because either way, you're going to be going from here down to like here or like over here and then going this way. I don't, unless you're going to like, I don't know how you would avoid that. That's just my thing here. I have no clue. I mean, you're going to run into storms though if you go today, more than likely. New severe thunderstorm warning was just issued for areas just west of Ardmore. This is a supercell that's been producing some significant hail for quite a while. Again, the main concern with this one is currently the potential for golf ball sized hail, and also the potential for damaging winds up to 70 miles per hour. This is moving through the Helton area near Tatum's, just west-northwest there of Ardmore. And again, we got a couple other storms ongoing near Henrietta, and this is also near the this in Clay County, Texas, by the way. These storms currently producing the potential for some severe weather, including damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and quarter-sized hail. Again, these storms are trying to develop. Here's a live cam out of the German, Texas area. We actually have some, look at this right here. That's actually, that's some towering cumulus. I think we're not going to be able to see it here in a second, or maybe we will. Somebody's adjusting the camera, but if you look at the right side of your screen, they keep adjusting it. But that right there looks like it's trying to tower up. Got a pretty good view if any storms do develop here. Thank you, Mash, for the $1.99. How do you smooth out colors on Radar Omega? Let me make sure it's on the screen. So down here, bottom right, you click this, then you click this little paint bucket, and then you can smooth it out or make it rough. I make it smooth just for presentation purposes, so it looks a little bit better, but roughing it out, in my opinion, does give it some better features in some cases. It just depends on who you are, really. 1 inch hail just confirmed near the Waurika area in Oklahoma, in Jefferson County. That was as of 11:47, so almost about half an hour ago with that storm. How's Roanoke, Texas on Sunday? I think you'll be fine on Sunday. I think you will be okay. tornado activity in bottom. You are in a little bit more of an elevated risk for tornadoes up there. Again, I think the main concern, though, really across the board for almost all of North Texas, unless you're in this area here, I think the main concern... Let me circle out again. But the main concern, unless you're in that black circle, will be mainly large to very large hail. I do think, again, there will be a bit more of an elevated tornado risk here between now and about 2:30 or so. And then back over in areas like Northeast Texas, there is still an elevated chance of an isolated tornado that could be strong, but I think the main concern, again, will be large to very large hail. That's at least what I'm thinking today. Now, obviously, make sure that you are prepared in case there is a tornado warning or there is a tornado. Make sure that you do have a tornado action plan in place and multiple ways to receive alerts, but I do think the main concern, again, will be large hail. Thank you, girl, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate your generosity. What time do you think Terre Haute, Indiana, is going to get storms, and do you think you'll see a strong tornado? So your main concern there will be more into the late afternoon and early evening. So let me go to the... Well, actually, let me see what this HRR run is showing. Let's see. This actually isn't bad. Let's do this. So this is what we're looking at around 5, 6. This is going to be 6 to 7 o'clock. So the main concern will be late this afternoon into the early evening. I think the main concern across the board here is going to be large to very large hail. If any of these storms are able to stay discrete this evening across these areas, there will be a more elevated tornado risk, but I do think, in my opinion, that there will be more of a large hail risk. So we're talking more about large to very large hail, and perhaps maybe even an isolated tornado. But that isolated tornado risk would be greater if we had discrete supercells. What we're seeing on here is more of a cluster. And what that essentially means is that a lot of these storms will be sharing energy amongst themselves. We're going to have a lot less rotation overall, and these would be more of damaging wind and hail producers. But with all that being said, again, I would not be surprised with some level of a tornado risk if we did end up getting more of those discrete supercells going. But as of now, it looks to be more of a cluster to hail threat. But if that does change and we end up getting more discrete supercells, I would be potentially talking more about a tornado risk there. But again, that's going to be late afternoon, early evening. I'm honestly not overly sold on this strong tornado risk today, or like a 10% tornado risk today across areas in Arkansas. You know, I like, it's going to really depend on if we get any discrete supercells that stay alone for a while. And I think the greatest potential for that is going to be right in here. I don't know if it's going to really last all the way through here. Even looking at like some of the latest runs too. I mean, this is like 6 to 7 o'clock. A lot of the storms are clustered together by this point. This is the 10% tornado risk today. So it's pretty much in the area I just outlined. But I do think the greatest risk, again, will be in that black circle back here. Let me make it a different color. Let's go yellow. So this yellow area here, that's where I honestly think we're gonna have the greatest chance of a tornado. And I mean that as like the 10% risk. I feel like this will be the greatest area. I'm much more uncertain about this area back from Little Rock into northern Arkansas. But I do think really the greatest tornado risk will be like early, like mid-afternoon across parts of eastern Arkansas, or eastern Oklahoma into western Arkansas, just by the looks of everything. Now, I hope there's no tornadoes at all, but I do think that'll be the area to watch for the greatest tornado risk today. That's where the best potential, again, is for like discrete supercells, and those are the ones that typically do produce a greater chance of tornadoes. Thank you, Yoshi, for the $5 super chat. One of these days we'll have tornado home, or we will have a tornado that builds homes instead of destroying homes. That'd be a dream. I'll have to say that. That would be interesting, but I don't think that's ever happening, unfortunately. Thank you, Colin, for the $1.99. Do you think St. Louis, Missouri will see tornadoes? I think more than anything, you'll be watching for more of a large hail threat this evening. Or not really this evening, but more in the late afternoon, early evening. So that time frame, mostly a large to very large hail threat. I wouldn't rule out an isolated tornado, but I do think the main concern there will be the tornado risk. By the way, we're only 12 followers away on Twitter from 4,000. If you've not already followed us on Twitter, make sure to follow us there. We post a bunch of stuff on there. The link is in the chat if you want to follow us. It's at MaxVelocityWX. And we do have a tornado warning that's just been issued. Brand new tornado warning near Seminole. And this is actually an area of rotation that we were looking at earlier. This is a developing area of rotation in Oklahoma. Seek shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible if you're in this warning. This is again, brand new tornado warning near Seminole, Oklahoma. First tornado warning of the afternoon, because we had one earlier, but this is a brand new tornado warning. Rotation beginning to strengthen a little bit near Seminole. Again, this is moving northeast going toward the Cromwell area. Make sure that you are, again, seeking shelter immediately away from windows and on the lowest floor possible if you are included in this tornado warning. And rotation right now is still a little bit more on the broad side, but the red indicates winds going away from the radar. Green indicates winds going toward the radar. And that is where we're looking right now for rotation. It'll be right in there near Seminole, on the eastern side of Seminole, moving to the north and east, going toward Cromwell, and eventually going to be going towards the areas near Interstate 40. So again, this is a new tornado warning in parts of eastern central Oklahoma, just east of the Oklahoma City metro area. Radar indicated rotation. This storm does not have any reports right now of a funnel cloud yet, but obviously there's definitely a potential here that we have a lowering or some sort of maybe like a wall cloud, for example. It's entirely possible with this sort of storm. So again, make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately away from windows and on the lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. We'll be keeping a very close eye on the storm. There is a lot of rain around this, so it's going to make it very difficult to see if you are trying to look for this tornado. So again, do not try to be looking outside your window. Make sure that you are staying in your safe place away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. Main two locations in this warning are Seminole and Cromwell. Stay safe, Brian. Stay safe. Hopefully this doesn't drop anything, but it obviously is currently rotating. Rotation's right over the eastern side of the town. It's basically over Broadway Avenue. Again, that'll be moving toward Interstate 40 here over the next little while. I'm going to see if we have any live cams on this area. See if we have any views on anything here. Thank you, Jacob, for the $2 super chat. Union City, Indiana. I will look in a second. All right, we don't have any live cams, it looks like, in this area. Nope. Nope, none in this area. Here's the latest radar scan. Again, notice winds going away from the radar. Still pretty strong. We definitely have damaging winds here. Rotation going toward the radar. Still a little bit on the weaker side of things. Again, this storm currently moving north and east. So again, stay in your safe place away from windows on the lowest floor possible. I'd still say the tornado risk with this is relatively low, but it's definitely going to be something to watch for. Union City is mainly the threat that's over the next couple of hours, so maybe some isolated damaging winds. But other than that, I'm not expecting any sort of really severe weather threat tonight. It would be a very low threat overall tonight if you see anything else. Thank you again for your $2 super chat. New severe thunderstorm warning just issued for Henrietta back into Morse, Oklahoma. That is for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour and quarter-sized hail. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, a tornado warning was issued near Seminole, Oklahoma. This is just east of the Oklahoma City metro. Main concern here is going to be the potential for a tornado. Again, we could get a tornado at any time. This is currently moving to the north and east. Rotation currently located near Seminole, and this is again moving northeast. Stay in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. Here's the latest radar scan. Again, still some pretty broad rotation here near Seminole. I'm not seeing anything tight, confined, or strong here yet. This is still moving toward the Cromwell area, going toward Interstate 40. And I would still recommend that you stay in your safe place until this storm continues to... it basically is not warned anymore. It's still a tornado warning, at least all the way through 22 minutes from now. So that'll go until about 12:45. But the rotation overall right now is definitely not very strong. It's still broad. It might take a little bit of time to develop as well. There's a lot of convection around this storm, so I do think the window for this producing a tornado is probably on it's on the shorter side of things. I do think it's going to be a short window, mainly due to the fact there's a lot of storms around it. Again, this is near Seminole, Oklahoma. Delta, you can change that in the settings. It's one of I think it's the think it's the control panel settings under radar settings, potentially. Yeah, the velocity unit of measure, make it miles per hour. That's how you do it. Thank you, Jane, for the 199. Fly out of Columbus, Ohio at 9 p.m. Reschedule. I don't think you have to reschedule. I think you'll be all right. There might be some storms in the vicinity. I mean, if you're able to reschedule, you can always reschedule, but there will probably be a little bit of storm activity there this evening. Now, will it cancel the flight? It probably wouldn't cancel it. I'm not a pilot, so I don't know, but it probably wouldn't cancel the flight. It might delay it by like a few hours if there are storms in the area. Might make a ground stop until like 11 or so. But that's what I'm thinking right now. I don't think there's really, I mean, again, if you can reschedule it, you can. There will be some storms tonight. Tomorrow should be a nicer day for sure in Ohio. Here's the latest radar scan. Again, rotation still remains broad at this time. This is near Seminole. Again, these are the winds going away from the radar. Those are the winds going toward the radar. That gives you an idea of the counterclockwise rotation, which is cyclonic. That is very typical for tornadoes. And this is, again, about 98% of tornadoes are cyclonic, which meaning counterclockwise. Again, we do have some rotation still near Route 9, just northeast of Seminole. Still broad as of right now. This is moving north and east. We'll still monitor it closely to see if it does develop into anything as it continues to roll to the north and east. I'm quickly going to look down here to the south and see if there's any rotation down here. Not seeing any rotation right now on any of these other storms, so that's really the main one with rotation. All these other storms, though, are producing hail up to the size of golf balls, in addition to damaging winds as high as 70 miles per hour. So still a lot of severe weather with these storms right now. There's that latest radar scan here. Putting that live cam at the bottom left of your screen. That's the one out of Norman. Rotation's still on the broad side of things. We'll still watch it closely. Again, now it's just off to the east of Seminole. Moving northeast, it's going to be going toward Cromwell and eventually going towards Schoolton and Interstate 40 over the next little while. And if you're in this tornado warning, make sure that you're staying in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. The tornado warning itself goes all the way through 12:45 p.m. Tornadoes can be anticyclonic. It's just a very low probability of that happening. It's like it's like 2% of tornadoes, I think. That's like the number that actually are anticyclonic. Very small number. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, this is a tornado warning near Seminole, Oklahoma. This is moving northeast, going toward Cromwell and Interstate 40. Storm's not moving that fast right now. It's moving northeast at approximately 30 miles per hour. So it's not a super fast moving storm, but this one, again, does have a chance of producing a tornado, and as well as a little bit of hail. A lot of rain falling across this area. There is a flash flood warning, so that's also another concern, but the imminent concern right now is the potential for a tornado with this. So again, stay in your safe place, away from windows. Lowest floor possible if you are in this tornado warning. You can send photos to us via Twitter. That's the preferable way, or Facebook. The links to that is in the description below. Our Twitter page is at MaxVelocityWX. Our Facebook page is also at MaxVelocityWX. And here's the latest radar scan. Rotation's weakening pretty quickly on this storm. I don't think this warning's going to last much longer. We don't have a whole lot of rotation left with this. But with that being said, damaging winds still a possibility. They just issued a new severe thunderstorm warning for 60 mile per hour damaging winds, quarter-sized hail, in addition to a tornado possible label. What that means is that there could still be a tornado embedded in these storms at some point down the road. Obviously, this storm's been rotating for quite a while, but looks like that rotation's weakening pretty quickly right now. Again, that's near Seminole, Oklahoma, moving northeast. Just gonna zoom out a little bit here, but that's what it looks like right now on live radar. So that tornado warning again east of the Oklahoma City metro. Greatest tornado risk again is in eastern Oklahoma, back into western Arkansas today. But we are obviously still going to see the potential for a few tornadoes outside of that greatest risk, anywhere from areas like Illinois and Indiana all the way back into North Texas this afternoon and evening. So zoom back into this. We'll stay on this warning obviously until it does end up either being canceled or expires. Rotation is located right here. It is definitely broadened out quite a bit. Very weak rotation as well. That's going to be approaching Cromwell here in the next about 10 minutes or so, and still stay in your safe place until the warning has lifted, but I do think it's definitely weakening pretty quickly here. You don't have Twitter? A lot of people don't have Twitter. I didn't get it until like early last year. I use it to post my flying trampoline outlooks. Looking to see if we have any other updates on these storms. As of now, not any new updates. And the tornado watch across areas in eastern Oklahoma and North Texas, that goes until 6 o'clock tonight. So again, that is the concern tonight. Tornado watch goes until 6 p.m. tonight Central Time. That does include areas in eastern Texas, or sorry, not eastern Texas, northern Texas, eastern Oklahoma, and southern Oklahoma, all the way until 6 tonight. A couple of strong tornadoes remain possible in these areas, in addition to some large to very large hail that could go as high as apple-sized hail, as well as maybe some damaging winds to go along with it. Again, we do have an active tornado warning near Seminole, Oklahoma. The warning has been condensed, no longer includes Seminole, so it only includes the Cromwell area. It still goes until 12:45 p.m. Central Time. So if you're in this warning, again, stay in your safe place, away from windows and on the lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. Here's the latest radar scan. Again, rotation still weakening quite a bit here. It's not very strong, very weak rotation near Route 9, moving toward Interstate 40. We'll still watch it closely, though, as it continues to move to the north and east. It's the smallest polygon you've ever seen. I've seen a lot of small polygons. Like, a lot. They can get very small. I don't know like the square mileage of the smallest one I've seen, but they can get very small. Like, they could literally be like this size, or even smaller than that. Like, I've seen some very, very small ones. Friendly reminder, by the way, if you are tuning in for the first time, make sure to subscribe down below. It's the red button down below. It's free to do. Make sure to subscribe. We are approaching 115,000 subscribers. And if you've been enjoying the stream thus far, finding it informative, make sure to like the stream. And again, we are currently in an active tornado warning near Cromwell, Oklahoma, just northeast of Seminole. Again, still some pretty weak rotation right now. We'll see if it tries to organize or redevelop, but for the time being, it remains on the weaker side of things. It has become rain-wrapped as well in nature, so do not try to look outside for this tornado because, again, rotation's weak to begin with. It's not really that evident that we're going to have a tornado here in the short term, but with that being said, it's rain-wrapped, so you're probably not going to be able to see it even if you did try to look for it. Here's the latest radar scan. Still got a little bit of rotation. It's again still fairly broad. It's definitely trying though. Increasing damaging wind risk near the Bowlegs area near Maud south of Seminole. Wind speeds on radar estimated near 50 to 55 miles per hour. Very easily at the surface could be around that. That is currently moving to the northeast. It's getting brighter. Yeah, bottom left of your screen, by the way, that is Norman, Oklahoma. That is not where this tornado warning is, but it's the only live cam that we have in this vicinity. But just gives you an idea of how ominous the skies are. Norman's not really going to see any severe weather today. They're a little bit out of the way of the bulk of the severe weather risk for today. This is Oklahoma. Again, this is a tornado warning in Oklahoma right now. Goes until 12:45 p.m. Central Time. Yeah, if you have any photos or videos, you can tweet us on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX or on Facebook at MaxVelocityWX. Those links, again, are all in the description below. I have a lot of people asking about that, so that's all in the description below. All of our social links are down there. And rotation has pretty much fizzled out at this point. Not really seeing a whole lot of rotation anymore. Definitely still have some damaging wind potential here, but rotation itself is definitely weakening. We also have a growing area of damaging winds near the Bowlegs area, near Maud. It's moving to the north and east. Plenty of lightning with these storms as well, but that storm in particular definitely losing a lot of its rotation. I'm going to check these other storms out as well. Just make sure they're not really doing anything too crazy. Looks like we do have a little bit of rotation trying to develop as well near Henrietta, Texas. This severe storm is producing ping pong ball sized tail and 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds. And further north near the Helton area, we still have that storm producing golf ball sized tail and 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds. And then our other storms, one near Henrietta, Oklahoma, that one is producing some larger hail now and as well as some damaging winds to go along with it. But this time the rotation is definitely weakening on this storm in Oklahoma. No problem, Jordan. The tornado risk in Fort Worth is low today. Anywhere in North Texas, it's pretty low. The highest tornado risk is really going to be centered back up near like the Henrietta area, so northwest North Texas. It's where the greatest potential is. Latest radar scan still showing very weak rotation right now near Cromwell. I do think this warning will probably be canceled here. It goes for 9 more minutes. Rotation's very weak at this point. And this will be moving toward Cromwell and eventually going toward Interstate 40. I'd still stay in your safe place all the way until the warning has officially been lifted. So that basically means until 12:45 p.m. Central Time, unless it is canceled, which I will let you know if it is. But as of now, it's still ongoing for 9 more minutes. We got hit by a storm in Indiana at 11. Since then, the temperature went up 10 degrees in like an hour. I bet the sky's cleared and it's probably sunny, or at least mostly sunny there now. That is probably what happened. There wasn't any cold front associated with those storms. It was just storms, so I wouldn't be surprised if the temperature shot right back up. You look at the Ardmore area. Ardmore right now is currently fine. I mean, we're not really looking at any storms there right now. You're probably still a good 45 minutes to a little over an hour from any storms being in really your area. Now, granted, there's lightning, but I mean, it's still quite a bit away to your west. But you probably won't see any storms until closer to about 2 o'clock. A lot of the storms that are developing right now will kind of train along here more this direction. So still something to watch there in Ardmore, but not any imminent threats right now in your ballpark. No problem, Guy. I don't think Oklahoma City is really going to see much, to be honest. I know a lot of people are wondering about Oklahoma City, but I really don't think you guys are going to really get anything. I think most of the storms, I mean, you might see an isolated storm later this evening once the frontal boundary pushes through, but I think a lot of the storm activity will be mostly consistent with areas east of you. You're not even under the tornado watch, so obviously this round of storms won't be impacting you, but I don't think you'll see anything until either tonight or the next severe weather event. That's what I'm thinking at this point. And if you're just tuning in, again, we do have a tornado warning going for 6 more minutes near Cromwell. And this is a tornado warning for the main concern right now of a tornado, but that risk is dying out pretty quickly, and it's now died out officially. We no longer have a tornado warning. Tornado warning has now been canceled there for the Cromwell area. So we'll go back to answering questions. Again, we're still keeping a close eye on the radar for any other severe storms, which we have plenty of them, but most of them are currently severe thunderstorm warnings. But again, if you have questions, feel free to leave those in the chat. And again, if you are enjoying the stream so far, make sure to subscribe down below. We are currently 65 subscribers away from 115,000. So make sure to subscribe down below. Click the bell icon down below as well so you're notified with our latest videos and live streams. And we'll keep you posted with the latest. Decent rotation in Indiana. Let me check it out. I'm guessing it's on this storm. We got a little bit of rotation near Austin. It's an interesting looking storm. Near Austin, there actually is a little bit of rotation there. I would say more than anything, this is damaging winds. I mean, the winds going toward the radar are relatively weak, but like this would be the area that we're looking for, is right in here. Let's kind of match that up with the storm itself. I mean, I'm not really seeing anything definitive here that would indicate a imminent tornado risk, but still something to watch for. Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of rotation there. It's I wouldn't say it's something that, again, would be an imminent concern though. Thank you, Gaming, for the $2 super chat. I'm a truck driver. Interstate 74 toward Indy is really bad. Yeah, I mean, there's been a bunch of storms there recently. I don't think there's been a whole lot of damage, but the winds can definitely get gusty, and obviously that can create concern for truck drivers especially. But I hope you're staying safe there on the roadways. It's definitely been very windy. We got a nasty storm right now near Henrietta that's quickly developing here. Very pronounced hook right now as well. Not sure if we're going to really have a view on that storm with these live cams, but this is currently near Henrietta. A pretty good looking hook echo right now on this. Definitely a chance that we get a tornado out of this as it moves more to the north. That'll be going toward areas near Nakona, eventually going into a pretty rural area between Nakona and Ardmore. That storm is a bit more on track to go closer to Wilson, though. Probably just west there of Ardmore. Let me go back to here real quick. By the way, golf ball sized hail right now ongoing near Pauls Valley in Stratford, Oklahoma. Just a heads up there. It's the latest out of Oklahoma. Thank you, Carrie, for the $1.99. How is Calvin looking? I don't know where Calvin is. I'm not sure what state or place we're talking about. Thank you for your $1.99. Here's the latest radar scan on this storm. Again, not really a whole lot of rotation on radar. It definitely could strengthen though over the next like 30 minutes, but we have a very clean hook right now. It would not surprise me if this started to rotate more as it moves more to the north. Again, this is currently located in northwest North Texas. And if you're just tuning in, the tornado warning in Oklahoma just expired. Or was just canceled a few minutes ago. But this storm in particular that's back down west of Nakona, definitely looking like something right now. Rotation's not overly strong, but it's definitely a storm that could intensify a bit more as it moves to the north. That'd be the area that I'm looking at. I'm not seeing much rotation on radar, but that's the area where there is at least some level of rotation. It's not very strong yet, but we do have a pretty clean inflow going into the storm. That is definitely a storm to watch for as it moves to the north. DFW, anywhere in North Texas, like including the DFW Metroplex area, the main concern will be between 4 to 12. So about an 8-hour time frame. The main concern will be from 4 to 8, but there will be some storms after that are probably going to be less severe overall than the first round. Anything concerning or anything coming to Kansas City tonight? I'm not expecting any severe weather in Kansas City tonight. I think we are done with that there in Kansas City, and I think Kansas is done at least for a little while. But it has been very active there. I do have to say that. It was a very, very active yesterday. We had a lot of storms. Obviously, if you watched last night's live stream, we had a tornado confirmed on live stream last night. It got pretty crazy. Got pretty crazy. Somebody said in chat earlier, I didn't see this, but somebody was telling me, have you thought about getting a new chair? So the chair I'm using is not the one I usually use on live streams. Again, I'm in a completely different setup, and you probably can hear the screeching of this chair. It sounds horrendous. It's a really crappy chair, I do have to say that. And that's one of the biggest reasons why we can't do long live streams where I'm at, but I have a different chair at the Max Velocity Studios. This chair that I have is like a $200 chair on Amazon that I got probably about 2 years ago or so, and it fell apart in like 6 months. They ended up sending me a new one, and this chair still does not feel comfortable at all. It's really crappy. It was really a big waste of money, but have a much better chair at the Max Velocity Studios, which I'm not there right now, but once we're back there, live streams are much easier to do. But this one's painful. I'll just say that. It's not a good time, unfortunately. But yeah, it's a very squeaky chair. But we do have a new microphone to go along with anything here. The microphone was basically the price of the chair. Here's the latest radar scan on this storm. We still have some rotation located near the hook of this storm, just east of Henrietta. And this is what we're looking at right here. Got a little hook echo, got inflow. Again, not an imminent tornado concern, but it will be something to watch for because this is an environment down here in North Texas back into southern Oklahoma that is a bit more favorable for discrete supercells like this one that'll have a greater chance of producing an isolated tornado. Thank you, Kat, for the $2 super chat. Memphis, Tennessee later today. Should we be concerned? Main concern there will be damaging winds with some isolated large hail. What chair do you recommend for good sitting? I mean, this one really probably will shock nobody, but Herman Miller's really the best one, in my opinion, when it comes to comfortable chairs. But those are really expensive. We're talking like $1,000 for a chair. Most of their chairs, I think, are over $1,000. Why am I not at the Max Velocity Studios? The main reason why is because it's spring break, so I kind of decided I'm going to travel, and now we're doing severe weather coverage in the middle of my vacation. Good times. Yeah, you can get Herman Millers for cheaper too. I mean, you can get them for like $500-600 depending on where you go. We have a tornado warning in Indiana. So this is the other storm that we're looking at earlier. Somebody mentioned it, but this is the tornado warning on this storm near Indiana. If you are in the Cyrena area, well, I hope I'm saying the name right, make sure that you are seeking shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible. And this is a brand new tornado warning back over near the Cyrena area, going toward Madison and Brooksburg, going toward China and the Ka'an area. This is north of Louisville, by the way. Again, brand new tornado warning, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. This is radar indicated rotation. This will be approaching Madison at about 1:55 p.m. That's the main location in the track of this. Again, brand new tornado warning for those in parts of southern Indiana. This is north of Louisville. This is near Madison, Indiana. Again, seek shelter away from windows, lowest floor possible. interior room of your home or building. For those that are wondering about Discord, by the way, the link's in the chat. Some people are asking. That link works. Smyrna. I don't know. Main location's Madison, though. If you're near the Madison area, again, strong rotation developing currently west of your location. Tornado could drop at any time. Again, make sure that you are getting to your safe place immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. The storm, again, is currently moving east. This is, again, in southern Indiana. Make sure that you're seeking shelter immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible. New severe thunderstorm warning just issued near Nacona, Texas. Main concern there is hail and damaging winds. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, this is a tornado warning just issued moments ago in southern Indiana. This is approaching Madison, Indiana. Again, back down in southern Indiana. Make sure that you are seeking shelter, away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. The storm, again, currently moving to the east. It's going to be going toward the Hanover area and Madison, eventually going toward China and Brooksburg. Thank you, Bree, for the $4.99 super chat. The Sky and Green County, Indiana is trying to clear. Tagged you on Twitter. Okay, I'll check it out. I don't see a tag on Twitter. I could be wrong. I don't see anything, though. Here's the latest radar scan. Again, rotation still strong just to the west of Madison. Let's go to the correlation coefficient. I'm not seeing anything definitive right now in terms of a tornado drop, but again, it could happen at any time as this storm continues to move to the east. So again, make sure that you're staying away from windows, lowest floor possible here if you're near Madison, Indiana. The storm, again, currently moving east. This is not a confirmed tornado, by the way. This is still radar indicated rotation. Again, what we're looking at here is the velocities radar. Gives you an idea of the rotation ongoing. Red going away from the radar and green going toward the radar. Those are the two different velocities that we're looking at. And this is your pocket of rotation. It's in between the two where those two colors intersect. We are trying to see if this ends up tightening and strengthening, and we can try to verify that with the correlation coefficient. Correlation coefficient gives us an idea of if there's any debris being lofted up into the atmosphere. We don't have that as of right now, but we do have rotation that is attempting to strengthen right now, moving toward Madison. Again, stay in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. If you are near Madison, Indiana, the supercell is again in southeast Indiana, well to the south there of Indianapolis, north of Louisville. Thank you, Shadow, for the $2 super chat. Cromwell, Oklahoma has some rotation. I will check it out on my phone. Yeah, there's a little bit of rotation near Cromwell that is developing. So near Cromwell, going toward Clearview and Faro. Those will be the areas in the track of that. The warning counter is updated, by the way. I've seen a few people mention it. It is updated. Here's the latest radar scan, and again, we got our supercell right here, some hail as well. This is where we're watching for a tornado. It would be right in here somewhere, just northwest of the Hanover area. Let's go back to the velocities again. Velocities right now still showing rotation just to the west of Madison. Is going to be approaching Madison here over the next about 5 minutes or so. Correlation coefficient not indicating any debris being lofted up into the atmosphere, so again, it's not a confirmed tornado as of now, but could still produce a tornado risk as this moves towards the Madison area. Rotation is on the stronger side of things, definitely could produce a tornado. This is the Indianapolis radar site. What in the world is it showing here? Okay, it's showing very interesting colors. We'll go back to this one. We actually have a radar site right here that we could look at too. Yeah, rotation right now located just west of Madison. Rotation is strong. It definitely could produce a tornado at any time. National Weather Service, or the Storm Prediction Center, just extended the severe thunderstorm watch. So this goes now into parts of northern Kentucky. This watch goes for 2 more hours, so until approximately 3 o'clock Central Time. And that rotation located over Kent. It could drop a tornado at any time. Again, stay in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible if you're in this warning. Still radar indicated rotation. Hanover, Madison, Central, Manville, China, or Brooksburg here in southern Indiana. You need to be in your safe place away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. It's an interior room of your home or building. A tornado warning might get issued on that storm, by the way, that's near the Cromwell area in Oklahoma. Yeah, rotation's tightening up quite a bit here near Madison, Indiana. Yeah, this could drop a tornado at any time. Can't stress it enough. If you're near Madison, Indiana, get to your safe place. If you know any friends or family in this area, make sure that they are aware. Give them a call, give them a text. And the storm currently moving into a populated area in Madison, Indiana. Not confirmed as of right now, but again, it could drop at any time. I'm using a laptop, for the record, for those that are wondering. This is not a computer. I'm guessing a tornado warning just got issued in Oklahoma, and it did. We have now a tornado warning in Oklahoma. That's the other storm I was just talking about. New tornado warning for those over near Cromwell. Again, this is near Cromwell. Seek shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible. Interior room of your home or building. This is back over near the Burden area, moving north or east-northeast. Again, strong rotation developing here as well, embedded in a large cluster of thunderstorms. This is not far from the Okima area, moving east-northeast. This is a strengthening area of rotation, very quickly strengthening near Burden. Correlation coefficient not confirming anything yet, but this could definitely drop a tornado at any time here in Oklahoma. So again, get to your safe place immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible if you're included in this warning. We're going to be going back and forth a lot between these two different tornado warnings, but these are both radar indicated. Let's go back to Indiana. And rotation still quite strong here as well, back over near Madison, north of Hanover. This is again moving east. Strong rotation right now. About to move into Madison. That is a really defined hook here on radar. This again could drop a tornado at any time. We have a very definitive hook here. Strong inflow. Could easily get a tornado here at any moment. Yeah, this is moving toward Madison. Very strong rotation here in southern Indiana. And this is moving east into Madison. Stay in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible. And we have 2 different tornado warnings right now in effect. This is the split screen radar. So this gives you an idea of the rotation, which is right here, and then the hook echo that we have on the storm as well. Inflow going to the storm. Very clear here again near Madison. So again, near Madison, Indiana. Again, 2 different tornado warnings currently ongoing. We're going to stay on this storm through the next radar scan. I am going to be closely monitoring the tornado warning in Oklahoma as well on my phone. I'll be giving you updates on that one as well. But a tornado could drop at any time on that storm that is currently in Oklahoma. That is near Okemah, near the Burden area, moving toward Interstate 40. That'll be moving toward Clearview and Faro, Oklahoma. That is in parts of eastern Oklahoma. And what we're looking at here is a tornado warning in southeast Indiana. This one currently could produce a tornado at any time. We have strong rotation embedded in this storm. The reflectivity just updated. We'll have an update on the velocities here momentarily. Again, 2 different tornado warnings currently in effect. All right, I'm gonna go back to Oklahoma real quick. Let me get off split screen here. Velocity should update at any second. Once the velocities update, I'm gonna go back to Oklahoma. New severe thunderstorm warning just issued out in front of this as well for golf ball sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour damaging winds. Velocities just updated. Strongest rotation just west of Madison. And looks like, let's see. All right, still rotation located right here. So it's going to be just north of Hanover. And that's moving to the east. Still radar indicated rotation, not confirmed as of now. Going back to Oklahoma. This is the other tornado warning that we have ongoing. Let's go back to the velocities. And here's your rotation. It's located near Burden. Again, this is near Interstate 40. Again, correlation coefficient not confirming anything as of now. No confirmation on this tornado as of yet, but again, we do have radar indicated rotation. It's located near Interstate 40, right over the Burden area, or Bearden area. Or Barrington area, one of the 3. Make sure again that you're staying in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible. This is to the east of Oklahoma City. Just making sure the other storm isn't rotating there. We're going to stay through this through the next radar scan in case it does end up dropping something here. Now, this is a tornado warning right near Interstate 40 in Oklahoma. Make sure that you are, again, staying in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible. Here's the latest radar scan. Again, that's the pocket of rotation that we're watching for. It's right over Bearden. Here's another radar scan that just came in. Let's go back to the correlation coefficient again. Oops. Let's go back to the correlation coefficient again. Yeah, nothing confirmed on this storm either right now. This is all rain-wrapped rotation at this point. It's very embedded in this thunderstorm. We have a lot of wind as well with this. Looks like we might also have a pocket of rotation trying to develop down here too. So we have 2 different pockets here, both in the vicinity of Bearden, just south of Interstate 40. Again, if you're in this warning, stay in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible. There are, in fact, 2 pockets of rotation here, both of them in the same area. So the 2 areas I just circled, those are both areas of rotation. So we could actually get the potential for twin tornadoes here if they end up strengthening. Again, we have 2 tornado warnings. This is one in Oklahoma. We have one in Indiana. We are watching the one in Indiana very closely. The tornado warning in Indiana currently is still radar indicated rotation. It does include Madison and Brooksburg. Here's the latest radar scan on the tornado warning in Oklahoma. Again, rotation located in 2 different spots. It has broadened out over the last couple of scans here near the Bear Den area, near Route 27, just south of Interstate 40. Again, these 2 areas of rotation are both moving east-northeast toward Faro and Clearview. Again, stay in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. Then you race for the $2 super chat. What about today in Tulsa and Broken Bow? Main concern will be large hail, isolated, damaging winds, but the severe weather threat when it comes to tornadoes is going to be the greatest down over in eastern Oklahoma, probably to your southeast. Eastern Oklahoma, western Arkansas, that's where I think the greatest tornado potential will be. Again, neither of these two storms have confirmed tornadoes, but they are obviously rotating quite a bit. Let's go back to Indiana real quick. Oh, Indiana's actually observed now. All right, we have a confirmed tornado now in Indiana. Let's go back to this. Confirmed tornado by emergency management. So confirmed tornado now over Madison. If you are in this area, get to your safe place immediately. And confirmed tornado right now over Madison. This is moving east northeast. It's gonna be moving toward the Brooksburg area. Let's go to the correlation coefficient. I think we can actually match this up. Look at this storm, holy crap. This is near Madison. Right here is where the tornado would likely be located right now. Yeah, this is a confirmed tornado by emergency management, meaning this was observed. That is possibly some debris being lifted up into the atmosphere there, but the tornado is going to be located right over the Madison area. Again, stay in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. This is a confirmed ongoing tornado in progress in the Madison area. This was confirmed about 40 seconds ago. We have a new tornado warning that has just been issued on the same exact storm. This does include areas near Madison, Brooksburg, and Carrollton. And stay in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible, interior room of your home or building. Sorry guys, that plane was not supposed to be there. I don't know why that was playing. But this is a brand new tornado warning now for Carrollton, Long Run, Vevay, Sanders, Worthville, all those areas included in this tornado warning. And get to your safe place immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible. Again, this is a confirmed in progress tornado near Madison, Indiana. It's about to be crossing into Kentucky as well. Very strong rotation ongoing near Madison. Got a obviously very clear hook echo, very clean inflow. And if the tornado is still in progress, it's going to be located there right over Madison. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit so you have an idea of where we're at. There are still 3 tornado warnings ongoing. We got 2 up here in Indiana. We got 1 in Indiana, 1 in Kentucky. We also got 1 in Oklahoma. The one in Oklahoma just had an update. Let me check that out. And that is still radar indicated rotation for Clearview, Oklahoma. Checking to see if there's any other updates there. Rotation is strengthening just southwest of Clearview, Oklahoma. We are still keeping a very close eye on that as well. Again, tornado is still in progress here near Madison, Indiana. You need to be in your safe place if you've not already gotten there, away from windows, lowest floor possible. Hook echoes right here. Tornado would be located just east of Madison. Very clean inflow. That's going to help the rotation a lot, especially with a discrete supercell like this. Vevay, Carrollton, Brooksburg, Long Run, Worthville, and Sanders. That is including southern Indiana and northern Kentucky. All those areas you need to be in your safe place, interior room of your home or building, whether that is a basement, storm shelter, bathroom, closet, any of those places. You need to be in those areas, in those spots, away from windows and on the lowest floor possible. This is a very, very classic supercell though. Textbook supercell. Seeing if we have any other updates on Twitter. Not seeing any as of right now. Here's the latest radar scan. Let's go to split screen again here. Go velocities here. So notice the strong rotation that we have here near Madison. That's where we're looking right now for the tornado. Yeah, we got a clean hook echo right now. That's where the tornado will be located. It's going to be right down just to the east of Madison. Yeah, this has been confirmed by emergency management moments ago. Looking a little bit broader here on radar on the latest velocity scan. With that being said, we could very easily still have a tornado. Again, this is moving down to the east-southeast right now, going towards Brooksburg and eventually going toward Carrollton, moving into northern Kentucky. Again, if you're in this warning, make sure that you're seeking shelter immediately away from windows and on the lowest floor possible as this storm continues to move to the east and east-southeast. We'll go back to Oklahoma here in a moment because that rotation is beginning to ramp up as well. Actually, it's slightly broader in the latest scan. Rotation right now in Oklahoma is on a tornado warning just southwest of Clearview. That is not far from the Faro area, right next to Interstate 40. That's east of Oklahoma City. I'm keeping a close eye on that one as well. I'm gonna zoom out just a little bit here. And Carrollton, Worthwhile, Sanders, all included in this in northern Kentucky. Still a confirmed tornado as of now in areas near Madison in southeastern parts of Indiana. And tornado warning has just been condensed. It no longer includes Madison. It is still a confirmed tornado, though. So, again, this is still a tornado in progress. About to move into Brooksburg and eventually going toward Carrollton, Kentucky. Brooksburg is in Indiana, so this is about to be moving into that area. Still a very classic supercell right now. Very classic. This is what it looks like right now. And this is where your tornado will be located. It'll be right there. And rotation still relatively strong near the Brooksburg area. Let's go and put on the correlation coefficient, see if there's any matchup there. And looks like we have some sort of matchup right there. Yeah, we are pretty far away from the radar site, so it makes it a little bit harder to see, especially the correlation coefficient. But it looks like we do have, yeah, that's debris right there being lifted up into the atmosphere. That's just down to the west of Brooksburg. It's a likely tornado right there. That would be on the southern side here of that. Basically, again, that would be in the hook echo right there. Again, this is still a confirmed tornado near Brooksburg, Indiana, about to move into Kentucky. Just got a new radar scan on the reflectivity. New one will come in here momentarily on the velocities. Here's the latest. Oh man, this is getting bad. That is really strong rotation right there. This is likely gonna, this could go PDS. Let's go to correlation coefficient again. Yeah, that's debris right there being lifted up into the atmosphere. That's definitely our tornado now. So we can confirm it by radar. This is definitely a confirmed tornado by radar here in Brooksburg. But this could very easily go PDS. Very strong rotation, perhaps a strong tornado in progress near Brooksburg going toward Carrollton, Kentucky. Again, this is in northern Kentucky right now, southeast Indiana. And PDS means particularly dangerous situation. This very easily could do that. Textbook looking supercell, very intense rotation. This is definitely a tornado in progress right now, moving into areas like Carrollton. Again, this is currently radar indicated by the National Weather Service, but this is 100% confirmed by radar. If you are in Carrollton, you need to get to your safe place immediately. Again, this is currently a potentially strong tornado that's now beginning to ramp up here. Right next to the Indiana and Kentucky border near Brooksburg. Worthwhile and as well as Sanders, you need to be in your safe place as well. Again, that is very intense rotation. Potentially a strong tornado developing here in northern Kentucky and southern Indiana. Debris, obviously, again, this is the correlation coefficient. Debris is clearly being lifted up into the atmosphere. That debris area is getting larger on the latest scan. That right there is the debris that's being lifted up into the atmosphere. We'll wait for the next velocities update here. Rotation is also strengthening now near Clearview, Oklahoma. So two different storms that we're watching. That one could also drop a tornado at any time. That right there is your tornado that's in progress right next to areas near Carrollton. That right there is your tornado. Tight rotation, Clearly a tornado. Lots of debris right now being lifted up into the atmosphere here near Brooksburg. This is just to the west-northwest of Carrollton. This is not PDS, but it has now been confirmed for those near Locust going toward the Carrollton area. So the latest update from the National Weather Service is that they have now made this a confirmed tornado on the warning. A lot of debris being lifted up into the atmosphere right now. This right here is your tornado. Smash that up with the reflectivity. And classic looking supercell right here. And this will be going right towards Carrollton, Worthwhile, and Sanders over the next several minutes. Again, if you are in this tornado warning, get to your safe place immediately, away from windows, lowest floor possible. In southeast Indiana, near Brooksburg and Madison, and it's going to be moving toward Carrollton, Kentucky. Here's the latest velocity scan. It's still very strong rotation. Again, that is tight, confined. That is what we're looking for when there's a tornado in progress, and that is definitely a tornado right now. That debris also is getting much darker in terms of its color. Blue is usually representing some hefty debris that's being lifted up into the atmosphere. That could potentially be homes that are being lifted up right now, or trees. That right there is really dark. Yeah, this is going toward Carrollton, Kentucky. You need to be in your safe place immediately if you're in this warning. Carrollton, Vevay, Sanders, and Worthwhile, you need to all be in your safe places. This is a really low correlation coefficient drop. We're talking really low percentages here. Strong, tight rotation right now near Brooksburg going toward Carrollton. That place has a lot of hills and a lot of trees, so more than likely a lot of what's being lifted up in the atmosphere in that case would be trees. If there are any homes in the area, that could also obviously be being lifted up here near Carrollton. But again, this is currently moving to the east. Rotation over near Clearview, Oklahoma has just weakened a little bit more again. That one's been in and out for a while. Again, the storm that we're on right now is the one that's currently located in southeast Indiana and northern Kentucky. This is near Carrollton. Again, this is an ongoing active tornado picking up debris into the atmosphere. This is located over in areas like Brooksburg and Carrollton. Again, moving to the east-southeast, going to be going towards areas like Worthwhile, like Sanders, all those areas currently in the track of this tornado that is in progress. If you are in this tornado warning, you need to stay in your safe place, away from windows, on the lowest floor possible. And that's not a particularly dangerous situation, but with that being said, this is still an active tornado that's in progress. Which means that debris is being lifted up, damage is going to be dealt to homes and buildings that are in the track of this. This is still moving to the east and east-southeast. Carrollton, Worthwhile, Sanders, Kentucky, you all need to be in your safe place. Also, a little update not related to this tornado warning, but a severe thunderstorm watch or a tornado watch will likely be issued for northwest Arkansas, southern and central Missouri, and western Illinois, including St. Louis, in an hour or so. Hail, damaging winds, and tornadoes are all possible. Here's the latest radar scan. Again, tornado located right now over Route 36. It's going to be approaching Carrollton here shortly. Carrollton is a very populated area here in northern Kentucky, or much more populated than the other areas that we've been talking about. This is right along the river, literally right along State Route 56, or near Route 42. Again, what I have circled here is the tornado that's in progress. It's approaching Carrollton and Lamb. And you need to be in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible if you are in this tornado warning. Thank you, by the way, Michelle, very much for your $9.99 super chat. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you. Latest radar scan just kind of went crazy on the velocities. It kind of glitched out. We'll go back to the live radar. Again, the tornado that's still ongoing is going to be right here. It's about to be, it's literally just off to the north here at Carrollton. If you're in Carrollton, get to your safe place immediately. Vevay and the Gent area, you need to be getting to your safe place here as well, away from windows, lowest floor possible. And correlation coefficient still showing some dark blue there. That's representing an active tornado that is still in progress here. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if this went PDS, but that is still some dark blue right there. That would be representing an active tornado. that's picking up debris in the atmosphere. Likely a lot of trees in this area, as I heard from some people in the chat in terms of the geography. Again, this storm right now moving east, going toward Vevey in the Gent area. Again, this tornado warning is in southeast Indiana, northern Kentucky. We also have a tornado warning that is ongoing in Oklahoma. I will check that out on my phone again and see what that looks like right now. There's still some rotation near the Clearview, Oklahoma area and Faro, but I'm not seeing any strong, tight, or confined rotation as of right now. We'll still be keeping a close eye on that. Tornado is right next to Carrollton now. And this, again, continuing to move to the east. We also have another tornado warning that was just issued for Oklahoma. Just going to give you a quick update on that. We're going to go to that real quick. Again, this is the confirmed tornado. We're going to go to the other storm just briefly. But tornado's still on the ground north of Carrollton. It's about to be over Carrollton and areas in the surrounding region, so right along State Route 56. You can stay in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible. We do have a brand new tornado warning now in Oklahoma. I'm going to quickly hop over to that. We'll go back to that storm here in a second. Tornado warning issued for Henrietta, as well as areas like Hoffman and Stidham. Rotation is going to be located near Clearview. Still broad rotation, but it could drop a tornado at any time as it moves right along Interstate 40 towards areas like Hoffman, Hitchita, and eventually going towards Stidham. Again, make sure that you're staying in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. And again, this is a active tornado warning across areas near Henrietta and Interstate 40. All right, we're going to go back to the confirmed tornado that is currently in progress again near Carrollton, Kentucky. This is still a confirmed tornado. That is your tornado right there. Let me zoom into this. This is impacting areas near Lamb in Indiana. Areas like the Patton Hollow Road area. That's right now in the track of this storm. State Route 56, Braytown, and 5 Points, all in the vicinity of this tornado. It's just north right now of Carrollton. Very close call right now for Carrollton, but this supercell, man, it is serious right now. We have a serious inflow. Lots of hail falling as well, but obviously the biggest concern is this tornado that is still on the ground at this minute, just on the north side of Carrollton, near State Route 56. And stay in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible if you're in this tornado warning. And this is in southeast Indiana and northern Kentucky near Carrollton. This is what the supercell looks like. Again, your tornado that is still on the ground right now is near Carrollton. If you're in Carrollton, Kentucky, if you are in Vevey, you need to be in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. This is still a confirmed tornado. It has not been upgraded to PDS, by the way. It is still a confirmed tornado, though. Presumably, there's a lot of trees in this area. Here's the latest radar scan. Intensifying hail core back up near Long Run, by the way. Velocity still pretty strong near State Route 56. Correlation coefficient not showing nearly as much debris at this point. So potentially some weakening happening here. But it is still on the ground as we speak. Again, right along State Route 56. Make sure that you're staying in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. If there is still a tornado ongoing, it's going to be right here, just on the east side of Carrollton. So just on the east side of Carrollton, near State Route 56, just southwest of Vevey. And again, this is currently moving east toward Easter Day as well in northern Kentucky. Again, stay in your safe place, away from windows, on the lowest floor possible if you're included in this tornado warning. Yeah, PDS means particularly dangerous situation. We are not in that right now. That's very possible later today with the other storms that we're going to have in eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas. But as of now, we do not have that. And this is the live radar feed. This is, again, the supercell that we're looking at. Again, classic textbook supercell across areas near Vevey and Carrollton, moving east. Again, make sure that you're staying in your safe place, away from windows, and on the lowest floor possible. We have photos of that tornado. or a photo of that tornado. This is from Robert Holt on Twitter. This is the tornado that is ongoing here. This right here is your tornado. Kind of see it's faded in the background, but that's the tornado. That is scary, by the way. It looks like they're doing some work out there. That's the tornado, though, right there. That's from Robert Holt. Again, notice the hail core that's located near Long Run and Vevey. That is producing some large to very large hail. And then, again, where we're watching for that tornado still, which is potentially still on the ground, is on the east side now of Carrollton. And we now have a new tornado warning. New tornado warning issued for Warsaw, Glencoe, Sanders, Vevey in northern Kentucky and southeast Indiana. It is a radar indicated, so this warning still ongoing, is still probably on the ground right now. This tornado is likely still on the ground on the east side of Carrollton. But with that being said, a new tornado warning has now been issued for radar indicated rotation for Glencoe, Warsaw, as well as Sanders. Again, if you're in these areas, make sure to seek shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible. It is entirely possible that this storm is going to try to recycle and produce another tornado. So you definitely want to make sure that you are staying in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible. We are currently on 4 different tornado warnings. Again, 2 of which are in Oklahoma and 2 of which that are in Kentucky and Indiana. Vevey, Indiana is included in this, and then also Sanders, Carrollton, Warsaw, and Glencoe, Kentucky. Not seeing anything definitive on radar here in terms of a tornado still on the ground, but it obviously could still be on the ground at any time, even in between radar scans. But it looks like this storm is trying to recycle now, because I'm definitely losing a lot of the rotation on radar. With all this being said, we have a ton of hail falling right here. This is a very large hail core developing with upwards of golf ball sized hail falling across areas in southeast Indiana, and going to be crossing into Kentucky here shortly. Quickly going to go to Oklahoma for a quick update there. We'll go back and forth a little bit here. This is the tornado warning near Henrietta, Oklahoma. Still some broad rotation near Interstate 40, but it's not overly impressive right now. I would still stay in your safe place if you are near Henrietta and the Duar area, near Schulter, away from windows, lowest floor possible. But the rotation is a bit more broad on that storm right now. But we are still going to keep a close eye on that. Further down to the south, we still have ongoing severe thunderstorm warnings across areas in southern Oklahoma. None of these storms really rotating right now, but we will still keep a close eye on those as well. All right, let's go back to the tornado that is still on the ground over in Kentucky. It does look like the rotation is attempting to recycle here across areas in the Vevey area. Again, if you are in Vevey, get to your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible. And this storm is still producing the potential for a tornado over the next several minutes. This is, again, approaching areas like Sanders and Glencoe near Warsaw. But this inflow is very, very definitive here on radar. Again, we got a hook echo in here. And then also we have a ton of hail falling on this storm. New radar scan coming in here momentarily. This is our first confirmed tornado thus far today, I believe. Unless we had one earlier this morning. I have retweeted the photo of the tornado on Twitter, by the way. If you want to check that out. Again, I just retweeted that on Twitter. Warning has just been upgraded, by the way, to 2-inch sized hail. Just an update on that. Lots of hail falling back near Vevey. New radar scan should be coming in here any moment. Southeast Michigan's not going to really see much severe weather today. That risk was really this morning. I don't expect much more later today. How's it going, Pyth? Welcome back. Waiting on a new radar scan on this storm. Velocities have updated. I'm not seeing nearly as much rotation anymore. It looks like we're getting a little bit of a redevelopment now on the more northern side of the storm near Vive, which the reflectivity hasn't updated, but maybe some rotation trying to redevelop there near Vive. I'm not seeing nearly as much though overall, closer to areas just east of Carrollton. Yeah, this is currently moving to the east, going toward Glencoe and Sanders. Does not seem to be observed anymore, though. I would say this is back down to radar-indicated rotation near Vive, and again, going toward Warsaw and Glencoe near Interstate 71. Still keep a close eye on that, though, as it moves to the east. But Storm definitely trying to recycle. At the bare minimum, it is producing a ton of hail. But I'm not seeing nearly as much when it comes to rotation. Again, rotation would like to sit down here, and we kind of lost that hook echo on the last couple of stands that was really definitive for a while. And here's a little loop of it. But that hail is huge. It's definitely, I would not be surprised if we have some tennis ball sized hail embedded in that thunderstorm near Vive. Is anybody in Vive, by the way, in the chat? Anyone in Vive or Warsaw? Any of these areas along the Kentucky and Indiana border? I'm gonna go back to the Oklahoma storm, I think, in a second. All right, let's go back to Oklahoma. We are down to 2 tornado warnings. The other 2 just expired, but they are in the same storm, so we still have 2 tornado warnings. It's still in the same storms. Going back to the one over in Oklahoma real quick near Henrietta and the Hoffman area. This is still an ongoing tornado warning. Rotation's really broadened out, though, over the last several scans. We definitely have some damaging wind potential near Henrietta, but rotation overall definitely weaker than before, going toward the Shelter area and along Interstate 40. That'll be continuing to move to the east-northeast. This is the other radar site further to the west, showing pretty similar stuff. Broad rotation right now with that tornado warning near Henrietta. I wouldn't be surprised if they let that one expire or just cancel it entirely, because the rotation itself is definitely weaker than before. That would be a rotation. It's basically located right over Henrietta and Oklahoma, so rotation definitely a little bit weaker on that storm right now. We'll still keep a close eye on it. The other storm that's back up here near Vive in Warsaw was just upgraded now to tennis ball sized hail, so that has been an upgrade onto this storm. Look at that hail core. Holy cow, that hail core is huge. Like that is massive. This is, again, producing up to tennis ball sized hail, obviously tornado warm, but this is a huge hail core right now near the Etheridge area, Florence, right along the Kentucky and Indiana border. Huge hail core right now in progress near Vive. This thing is, I mean, this is massive. Let's go to the, let's match this up with the correlation coefficient. Yeah, correlation coefficient is clearly showing all that hail as well. I'm not seeing nearly as much rotation anymore, but I'm definitely seeing a lot of hail here. That is a ton of hail. These reflectivity values around 73 or so in some spots. That's definitely a lot of hail. Thank you, B. Lyle, by the way, for the $10 super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm honestly not sure what we're doing in terms of a live stream today. I'm not sure how long we're going to go and exactly what we're doing. Because this was initially, this live stream was only going to be like an hour long, and it's now 2.5 hours. We're really just going to do a forecast stream, and it turned now into severe weather coverage. So things have gotten kind of interesting. But I'm not sure what we're doing yet. Welcome back, Sandy. Yeah, this is a lot of hail right now. Lots and a lot of hail. Quarter-sized hail was confirmed in Vive, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if we either had a very high quantity of hail or a very large size of hail here near Etheridge and the Vive area. New tornado watch just issued for a very large area. I'll show you guys that in a second. New tornado watch was just issued for Illinois, Missouri, and a few other areas. It's not going to show up on here yet. It's going to probably take a minute. I will pull up the photo here in a second. Very large area, though, just issued into a tornado watch. Here's that tornado watch just issued moments ago for anyone that is in areas like central and southern Illinois, like Springfield and Danville. It also includes St. Louis, Quincy, Columbia, Fort Leonard Wood, Springfield, Joplin, Fayetteville, and Fort Smith, all included in a large tornado watch. A few tornadoes are likely. Widespread hail up to apple-sized hail is likely, and as well as scattered damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour is possible. Population of about 7.5 million in this new tornado watch. So again, very large area included in that tornado watch. That goes until 9 o'clock Central Time. Here's the latest radar scan. Again, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of rotation on this storm anymore, but a very large hail core still in progress near Warsaw. Tennis ball sized hail possible here near Warsaw as that continues to move east, going towards Glencoe and Interstate 71. And stay in your safe place away from windows. Lowest floor possible if you're included in this warning. Definitely have a lot of cheese curd sized hail falling here right now. I'm going to go back to the Oklahoma tornado warning real quick to see what the update is on that one. We'll go back and forth a little bit here. Tornado warning still goes for 10 more minutes with this particular tornado warning. Again, not really a whole lot of rotation left here. I think the rotation on this storm in particular is definitely on the weakening trend. This near Henrietta, Interstate 40, near Route 375, near the Shelter area in Hoffman. And that is currently moving to the east-northeast. And the other storms right now across areas like North Texas and Southern Oklahoma, mostly hail producers, not really any significant supercells right now. We'll continue to keep a close eye on all this activity as well. But still 2 tornado warnings. We got one in Kentucky and Indiana, and then we got one down here in Oklahoma. Go back to the other one over here. And this is the one in northern Kentucky right now. A lot of hail falling here. Definitely a lot of potential for damaging winds as well as this continues to move to the east. I'm not seeing really any definitive area of rotation though anymore. I think that this storm will probably be mostly a hail threat from here on out, but we will still monitor this very closely. I'm in central Illinois. I woke up to a tornado warning this morning. There was a tornado warning this morning. I saw that on my notifications. It's crazy to think that this is really the only storm in this entire area. It's just this storm right here. Like this is like the main storm across anywhere in the Ohio Valley right now. It's this one. This is the one that's producing some significant hail. So I got a photo from Hades Streams on Twitter. This is a photo of the hail in Madison. So this is a storm that is currently has a tornado warning. This right here is around 4-inch diameter hail, apparently. To be honest, it doesn't look that large. I could be wrong. It looks closer to like tennis ball sized hail, but definitely some large hail there near Madison. And this is again the storm that we're talking about here. Thank you for sending that in as well. Appreciate it. New mesoscale discussion from the Storm Prediction Center. Local risk for tornadoes and wind/hail may persist for a few more hours with these storms in northern Kentucky. That would go through about Maysville. So that's the latest from the Storm Prediction Center on this area. Thank you, Sleeping, for the $5 super chat. I don't know how you even say that name, but in Missouri, gonna be fine today. Let me find where even that is. Ox Vasey. near Columbia. Yeah, I don't think you'll be too bad up there. I mean, again, maybe an isolated storm later today. I think the severe weather risk will probably just stay down to your south. The main threat, at least, will stay just to your south. But you are under the tornado watch, so obviously make sure you have multiple ways to receive alerts. Have a tornado action plan in place, just in case you're under a tornado warning later today. Here's the latest radar scan. Hail core is still pretty large right now. I'm not seeing really much rotation anymore. My guess is that they'll probably make this warning to a severe thunderstorm warning down the road instead of a new tornado warning. But obviously still stay in your safe place if you're in Sanders or Glencoe, Kentucky. This is still producing the potential for some significant hail up to the size of tennis balls. We already have evidence of that. There's definitely been a lot of hail with these storms. Fort Wayne's not really going to see much more severe weather today, just for the record, for those that are wondering there. I don't think you'll see much more in northern Indiana or northern Ohio. I think the main concern really from here on out will be in areas, this storm obviously being a lone storm. This is one that was not really expected, but I think the main concern will be across southern Illinois, southern Missouri, western Arkansas and eastern Oklahoma, and even parts of North Texas throughout the next several hours. I think that'll be really the main concern from here on out, and that goes throughout the afternoon and evening today. Stay on the storm here for a couple more minutes, and we'll probably go back to Oklahoma. The Oklahoma tornado warning also expires here pretty soon, but I do think that one will probably be I don't think they're going to issue a new one on that one. The National Weather Service has just issued a new tornado warning on this storm for those in northern Kentucky. This does include the Crittenden area, Dry Ridge, Williamstown, anywhere near Glencoe as well in northern Kentucky. Main concern in this area still is large to very large hail, upwards of tennis ball sized hail possible. We still have some rotation. It's definitely been more minimal. Problem is we are far away from radar sites, so it's hard to kind of tell what the exact rotation is here. But with that being said, still an ongoing tornado warning here just issued. Make sure that you're staying in your safe place, away from windows and lowest floor possible. Also, by the way, thank you, Tanya, for becoming a Maximum Velocity member. I missed that earlier. Appreciate you becoming a Maximum Velocity member. Thank you, I don't know, for the 199. How's Choctaw, Oklahoma looking? Main concern there is going to still be large hail, but even in the Choctaw area, I don't really think you're going to see much. I think most of the severe weather is already done for your location. Also, thank you, Arnie, for becoming a Minimum Velocity member, and also thank you, Shadow, for the $2 super chat. Risk in Stockton, Missouri. I will look here in a second. And this is a brand new tornado warning for those in northern Kentucky for Glencoe, southeast of Warsaw. But I do think the main concern with this storm is still going to be the potential for large to very large hail near Glencoe. Stockton's main concern will be large to very large hail. Maybe an isolated tornado. Yes, Wyatt, if you have a video or photo of the tornado, you can submit it via Facebook at MaxVelocityWX or on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. I'll post the Linktree link's gonna be in the chat that has all of our social media links. So just feel free to click that and find whatever social media platform works best for you. And this is a brand new tornado warning for northern Kentucky. I'm not super concerned about the tornado risk right now comparatively to earlier. Still stay in your safe place though in case this does recycle and produce a tornado. More than anything, I'm watching more for that very large hail threat out of this one. Quickly gonna go back to Oklahoma, see if there's any other updates on that tornado warning. This expires in a couple of minutes. Doesn't look like they're going to issue a new tornado warning, but as of now, mostly a damaging wind threat across areas in Oklahoma. That warning will probably be let to expire. Main concern for these storms is going to be damaging winds and as well as some large to very large hail. Baseball-sized hail currently a possibility in northeast Oklahoma on this very highly electrified storm that's back up near Jay going towards Southwest City. Baseball-sized hail. Lots of wind as well in the center of that storm. That's north of actually where Vince Walty is. That's north of Kansas, Oklahoma. And here's that tornado watch, by the way. It's now appearing on the map. But here's the tornado watch again. These are the areas included. I'll keep this up here for a second. They won't work? What do you mean? All right, let's go back down here, or over here, I should say, to the lone tornado warning in Kentucky. And there's still a tornado warning for those in Dry Ridge, Williamstown, Glencoe, Needmore. And this goes all the way until, for another 30 minutes. So it goes until about 2:15 p.m. Central Time. If you're in this tornado warning, stay in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible. We're gonna wait for the next radar scan on this one, then we'll go back to the west. Thank you, Keith, for the $4.99. What's the weather look like for Decatur, Texas tonight? I think the main concern will be storms firing up around 8 to 10 o'clock, but the main concern will be large hail. So sometime around 8 to 11 o'clock is really the best chance for storms. You could still see storms, though, anytime between about now all the way up until about midnight or 1 in the morning. Here's the latest radar scan. So again, hail core located near the Napoleon area, near Glencoe and Interstate 71, producing up to tennis ball sized hail. That is going to shatter some windows there along Interstate 71. Hopefully, if you're along Interstate 71, I would avoid this area near Glencoe. But back over into here, we are still watching for the potential for a tornado. Velocity's radar is a little bit messed up right now on here, but the rotation would be located near the Poplar Grove area. This is still radar indicated rotation. Tornado warning was just expired in Oklahoma, by the way. This is Radar Omega. You can download it with the link near the bottom of the description. Here's the latest radar scan. Hail core is intensifying near Napoleon, again in northern Kentucky. Near the Poplar Grove area, that is where the rotation's located. The rotation's still pretty broad at this point, not really intensifying. But still going to keep a close eye on that as it continues to move to the east and east-northeast. By the way, the hail photo that I showed you earlier, it was around 3 inches in diameter, which makes more sense. I am retweeting a lot of photos and videos, by the way, of the tornado that happened in Carroll County, Kentucky, the one that this storm produced. I'm retweeting a lot of videos and photos on our Twitter page at MaxVelocityWX, so you can check that out there. The link to that is also in the description below. Again, this storm is still producing the potential for a tornado, but the greatest concern right now is hail up to the size of tennis balls. In addition to that, we are still watching for a potential for a tornado as this continues to move to the east. Dry Ridge, the Crittenden area, and Williamstown all on the track of this. But rotation's really weakening pretty quickly on this. I do think the main concern, again, will be large hail. We have about a dozen severe thunderstorm warnings lined up across parts of Kentucky right now. A lot of different warnings there. All of them severe thunderstorm warnings, by the way. No tornado warnings there as of now. Latest radar scan still showing lots of hail falling near Glencoe. Again, broadening rotation overall. Not really as concerned about the tornado risk at this point. Definitely more the hail risk. We'll still watch it closely. We're going to go back to... I'm going to take off one tornado warning. We'll keep it at 1 because the other one is about to expire or be canceled. Let's go back to Oklahoma briefly. We'll go back to that storm at some point. This is what we're looking at Oklahoma, though, right now. We have multiple storms ongoing. One of them is producing baseball-sized hail near Jay. This is in northeast Oklahoma. high damaging winds also possible. Further down to the south, we have multiple storms ongoing right now. All these, for the most part, producing some large hail and damaging winds. Tornado risk right now still on the lower side until these storms get closer to eastern Oklahoma. A little bit of rotation close to Hoffman. That storm's been rotating for quite a while. It's attempting to rotate once again. Really weak rotation, but it'll probably get a better grip of rotation as it moves closer to like Warner, for example, over in eastern Oklahoma. Further down to the south and west, we have more storms ongoing. A few supercell storms that are pretty solo right now. We got one near Sulphur that's producing some golf ball sized hail and 70-mile-per-hour damaging winds. We also have a strong storm that's back southwest of Ardmore. Watch this closely if you're in Ardmore. There's definitely gonna be a chance for some large hail and damaging winds as it moves to the north and east. I would say overall, though, the severe weather risk still on the lower side until that storm gets a little bit closer to you. It's still a good 20 minutes away or so. All right, let's go back over to Kentucky, and we'll probably stay on this storm at least for the time being. Again, this is still an active tornado warning in northern Kentucky near Interstate 71. Mainly a hail threat, but we are still watching for the threat of a isolated tornado with this. If you're wondering how to make Radar Omega, by the way, look like this with the color table, you can join our Discord server with the link in the description. There's a Radar Omega chat tab that you can click on, and that has the details here for you. It has the details on how you get this color table. Yeah, if you're in Joplin, Missouri, you should also be prepared for the tornado threat. If you're in the tornado watch at all, which the tornado watch is huge. I mean, it's a massive area. It's anywhere from Illinois back into North Texas. If you're in any of these areas, you need to be prepared for the tornado risk. Though most of you will not see tornadoes, if you do see a tornado, obviously it could be on the stronger side of things. And again, this is anywhere from Illinois back into North Texas. And the tornado watch across most of these areas goes until 9 o'clock tonight. If you're back down in North Texas or Oklahoma, it only goes until 6 o'clock Central Time. So a little bit of a shorter time window. Back up in Missouri and as well as back into Illinois and Arkansas, the watch goes until 9 o'clock Central Time. It's a pretty elongated watch overall. Yes, there was a confirmed tornado. We were able to confirm it by radar, and there have been videos and photos on Twitter that have been posted, and that also has some evidence of that tornado as well. I am retweeting a lot of the photos and videos on Twitter, so again, if you want to see any photos or videos of the tornado, you can check that out on Twitter at MaxVelocityWX. The link's also in the description below. Northwest Indiana, yeah, you're pretty much clear. I wouldn't really expect much more severe weather at this point. Does a membership get to the Discord server? What do you mean? What do you mean, Carol? Yeah, there's a ton of storms in Oklahoma. That's really going to be, again, the hot spot of storms today. Not necessarily the tornado risk. I do think that tornado risk will be greater across areas in eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas. That's where I think the greatest threat will be. See if my forecast is right on that side of things, but that would be where I'm expecting the greatest threat of severe storms in terms of tornadoes, and as well as large to very large hail, which goes with any of those cells that are over there right now. Oh, you don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to be a member to join the Discord server. It's free. Discord is also a free app. Mariah, I don't have any live feeds to Storm Chasers. I mean, I do for I do technically have Sorry, 1 second. All right, never mind. I do currently have Connor Croft is live storm chasing, but I'm not sure exactly what we're doing with a live stream today. Once this tornado warning is done, we might end the live stream and go live again later, because I did go live primarily for a severe weather update, and this chair is extraordinarily painful. I mean, it's you can hear it squeaking, but it's really not comfortable, so it's kind of hard to stream this entire thing. But once this tornado warning is lifted, we will probably go live again at some point later. I might do North Texas weather coverage. I don't really know what I'm doing yet. We're going to kind of play it by ear and see what happens. But a lot of the storms right now at this current time are mostly hail producers. And as long as that stays true, I mean, there's not really a whole lot more to be talking about other than the tornado risk if that starts to develop more. But we'll see. I'm not sure what we're exactly doing this afternoon. Yeah, Connor is live. He's been live for a little over an hour. But there's a ton of people live right now, including like Ryan Hall and, you know, all the storm chasers and stuff. So I mean, I'm thinking about doing more North Texas based stuff this afternoon and evening. That way, one, I can at least stand more and not have to be sitting in this really painful chair, and two, I can do emergency live streams if needed for that area, because we have we have North Texas Weather Center on Facebook. That's a huge part of our following as well over there. We have like 120,000 followers, so that might be something I do this afternoon and evening, because that's also a huge time consumption part of what I do too. Connor is his name is Connor Croft. He's on YouTube. Actually, I think I can post his link. I have his stream pulled up right now, but I'll post his link if you want to subscribe to him. Here's the latest radar scan, by the way, near the Crittenden area. Again, I'm not seeing a whole lot when it comes to rotation. I'd expect more, again, of a damage, or more of a, not damaging wind threat, but more of a hail threat at this point with this storm, as it continues to roll out to the east. Mostly a hail threat at this point. Again, moving toward Dry Ridge and eventually going towards Williamstown. Thank you, Kat, as well, for the very generous $20 super chat. I appreciate that a lot, Kat. Thank you. Very much appreciate that. Thank you for your generosity. All right. Yeah, this storm's had a hook for a while. It was much more impressive, though, earlier. It was a much more impressive hook echo. We obviously had a tornado earlier. We don't have one now, but it's entirely possible it redevelops and strengthens and tries to develop a tornado again. I do think it's going to run out of energy, though, the further east it goes. It's definitely going to become a lower threat as it moves towards areas like Brooksville, for example, and Augusta. Thank you, Zachary, for the $4.99. Will St. Louis get anything tonight? You'll probably get something tonight in terms of hail. I think that'll be the main concern if you do see severe weather, which is not a guarantee, but if you do see severe weather, main concern will be large to very large hail, and then maybe an isolated tornado risk. Thank you for your $4.99. Yeah, but that's all I'm thinking right now. I think main concern again will be large hail, excuse me. We used to work with Vince Walty for a while. That was back last summer. He's a great storm chaser. Though we don't work together anymore, he's a great storm chaser. Yeah, I'll go back to Twitter here, see if there's any other photos. Lots of hail falling across Oklahoma right now. All across eastern Oklahoma. New mesoscale discussion for those in Oklahoma and North Texas. Very large hail, 2 to 3 inches in diameter. Severe damaging winds and a couple of tornadoes will remain possible with the intense storms through the afternoon. So just an update there. That's from about Gainesville, Texas, back up to the north. Tornado warning was just condensed for those in Dry Ridge and Williamstown. Still radar indicated rotation right now in northern Kentucky. Definitely, we're getting some damage photos and videos I'm gonna retweet the video on our Twitter page, and at Max Velocity WX on Twitter. Damage to homes looks to be pretty minimal damage to like roofing and stuff. For the most part, looks like a lot of trailer homes got flipped though. Lots of trailer homes got flipped, fences destroyed, and it's not even Flying Fences Friday, but there were some fences destroyed there. Got a huge crate in the middle of the road. Yeah, there's definitely a decent amount of damage there in Carrollton, Kentucky. And the video of that is on our Twitter page at Max Velocity WX. That tornado happened approximately about 25 minutes ago or so now. No problem, G bro. Yeah, never stay in a trailer, never stay in a mobile home. Very dangerous place during any warning, whether it's damaging winds, whether it's a tornado warning, it doesn't matter. It's a very dangerous place to be. Tornado warning was just canceled, by the way, for Glencoe, or I think it just expired. Tornado warning still ongoing for Dry Ridge in Williamstown until 2:15. Main concern still being the potential for an isolated tornado here, but the main concern definitely being large to very large hail with upwards of golf ball sized hail possible near the Dry Ridge area as the storm continues to move to the east. Yeah, mobile homes do not hold up well at all in any sort of situation with damaging winds or a tornado. It's a very dangerous place to be. I am checking to see if there's any rotation in Oklahoma, by the way, on my phone. I'm not seeing a whole lot of rotation right now in Oklahoma. Most storms are behaving themselves for the time being. Most of Missouri is under apple-sized hail threat. Yes, they're up to apple-sized hail. Now, not everybody's going to see apple-sized hail. It just means that up to that size. So anything at or less than 4 inches in diameter is possible. That could literally be anything from 0 to 4 inches, just for the record. That's what that means. Unless it's worded differently. Wait, let me check the watch real quick. You see how this was worded. Yeah, up to apple size hail. Okay, just want to make sure. If that said widespread apple size hail, it didn't even say up to, that'd be something else. I don't know if we've ever seen something like that before. All right, new severe thunderstorm warning was just issued for Dry Ridge, the Falmouth area. Many areas that are just off to the east of where the tornado warning is. This is going to include areas like Dry Ridge as well as Williamstown. This entire area, again, included in now a severe thunderstorm warning. This tornado warning will likely be canceled or let to expire. I'm guessing it'll probably be let to expire, but the rotation has been much weaker over the last several minutes. So, main concern going to be large to very large hail. No, still, no, you're a good sailor. Don't worry. No, a lot of people actually don't get that though. Sometimes, like some people don't understand when it says up to like baseball-sized hail, for example. Like people will always resort to thinking baseball-sized hail is 100% happening in my location. Like that is what they will think. Like that's what people resort to, and you know, a big thing is that you don't want that to be prefaced by people. You want it to be like, you know, realize that up to that size is possible, but most people will see X sized hail, whether that's like quarter size to golf ball sized hail. But a lot of people do think that, like, you know, we're definitely going to see baseball sized hail. That's not what that means. That's just the maximum hailstone size. By the way, if we do a live stream later today, if it's exclusively a North Texas live stream. There is a possibility that we do a dual live stream on both YouTube and Facebook, just for the record. But it would probably be on our other channel. I'll link it in chat real quick for those that want to subscribe to that. The link is in the chat. But if you want to subscribe to our other channel, if we do end up going live again later today for North Texas severe weather coverage, we will probably do a dual live stream. So just keep that in mind. Do have a new tornado warning in both Arkansas and as well as northeast Oklahoma. Tornado warning has been issued for areas just to the southwest of Sulphur Springs, south of Southwest City. And if you're in this warning, seek shelter immediately away from windows, lowest floor possible. This is a newly developing area of rotation. This has been a hailstorm for quite a while, but a little bit of rotation trying to develop here near the Gentry area, near the Colcord area. Yeah, if you're in this warning, stay in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible. Actually have a couple of pockets of rotation. We got one down here just northwest of Colcord, and then the other one east of Jay. So two different pockets of rotation here in northeast Oklahoma. Again, stay in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible. Charles, my YouTube or my Facebook page is specifically North Texas weather, so I basically have a YouTube channel for both. I have a YouTube channel for that and then a Facebook page. It just kind of matches up. But we'll see. I might even just do a dual live stream to this channel. I'm not sure yet. We'll even see if I go live again later. I have no clue. We'll see what happens. Yeah, if you're just tuning in, this is a brand new tornado warning in northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas. And stay in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible. Seeing some reports on Twitter in the Milton, Kentucky area. This is a quote: "They need help. Major damage has slammed our area. People trapped and need help." Stated on one of the local news channels. So that's in Kentucky, in Milton, Kentucky. Again, prayers to anybody in that tornado. On live stream, obviously, there was very strong rotation. There was a really intense pocket of rotation that was producing some major damage. The correlation coefficient was picking up on that substantially. And so hopefully everybody is okay there. But obviously, there has been some major damage to that area from what I've heard and what I've already seen. We do have some photos and videos on our Twitter page of that damage as well. You can check that out with the link in the description to our Twitter page as well, if you want to check that out. But again, that was near the Carrollton, Kentucky area, for reference. The storm that's over in northwest parts of Arkansas and northeast Oklahoma is still producing some rotation. And the two circled areas that I have here are the ones that are being impacted by at least some rotation. Not confirmed at this point, but again, if you're in this area, make sure that you're getting to your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible, as this storm continues to move to the northeast. Central Illinois does have a chance for severe weather. If you're in that tornado watch, that is specifically where you are in the potential for severe weather. Isolated tornado risk will exist. Mostly a hail threat, though, overall. Let's change my title. 1 second. Jefferson City, anywhere there in central Missouri, the same thing goes. I mean, we're talking mainly about large hail, maybe an isolated tornado. Those are the main concerns for today. Yeah, this is a tornado warning in northeast Oklahoma. Two pockets of rotation, both of which currently located just to the south of Southwest City. This could drop a tornado at any time. Again, stay in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible. This is also southwest of Sulphur Springs. We do still have a tornado warning in Kentucky, but that rotation's been weakening for quite a bit. I don't think that's a really imminent concern at this point. And this is currently moving to the east-northeast, going toward the Gravette area, eventually going toward Interstate 49 in northwest Arkansas. And reportedly, there is a funnel cloud associated with this storm as well. That's located on likely this area. We have two different areas of rotation, but likely this area. The other one's further to the north. So two different pockets of rotation, both of them just to the west right now of Decatur. It's going toward the Gravette area as well. Vince might have a flat tire. He mentioned something about a nail. That would not be good. That'd be really bad, especially with all the storms coming toward him, because he's like literally just south of the storm. Yeah, this is an active tornado warning in northeast Oklahoma. Could drop a tornado at any time. Stay in your safe place away from windows. Lowest floor possible if you're included in this tornado warning. The StormNet probabilities when it comes to the tornado risk are actually the greatest back over near Muskogee. That's near the interstate in central Oklahoma. That's back east of Oklahoma City. That's where the greatest tornado risk would actually be, though, according to StormNet. Lower probabilities on this particular storm. And I think this storm's gonna have a bit more of a little bit more of a tough time with producing a tornado. It's a really big hailstorm, but it's not overly organized right now. So we'll see if it becomes a bit more organized with the tornado potential. But the area that again has rotation is near 63. And then also the other area further north, just west of Gravette. But the rotation's still on the broad side of things, but could still drop a tornado as it moves to the east. No, Vince is on, he's on the storm near Decatur, Arkansas. I sent you a video of the funnel cloud in Madison on Twitter. Got it. Yeah, I saw that. Thank you for sending it to me. Yeah, there was, I've already seen a ton of videos and photos of that tornado back over in Kentucky. And again, that caused some pretty significant damage in those areas. And again, if you're in that area, if you know anybody in the Madison area of Kentucky, make sure that they are doing okay. That was a pretty strong tornado that went through those areas about 45 minutes ago to an hour ago. New radar scan will be coming in here in about a minute or so. Here's the latest radar scan. I'm still seeing some broadening rotation. This is one of the areas that we're watching for. That's broadened out quite a bit. Still a little bit of rotation near Maysville. That's crossing into the into Arkansas now. So now northwest Arkansas, so just crossed over the Oklahoma and Arkansas border. And two pockets of rotation that I'm watching for. The one near Maysville, that one in particular, I would still be watching for very closely. And then the other one further down to the south, just west of Decatur. A little bit more disorganized in terms of its rotation, but both pockets of rotation definitely areas of interest with this particular storm as it continues to move to the east-northeast towards Gravette and eventually going toward Interstate 49. Yeah, if you're in this tornado warning in northwest Arkansas or northeast Oklahoma, make sure that you are still staying in your safe place away from windows, lowest floor possible. I'm retweeting another photo of the damage in the Madison area of, actually this is in Brooksburg, Indiana. We're tweeting another video of the damage there. There was some serious damage to mobile homes. A lot of them flipped over. Lots of spread out debris and damage in that area. Again, from that tornado that we covered earlier. Again, it's on our Twitter page at MaxVelocityWX. Wish I could type that fast. I type really fast. My words per minute for the record is 110 words per minute. Here's the latest radar scan. We'll go to the velocities as well once they update. But again, I'm not seeing nearly as much rotation on this storm anymore. If there is a tornado, it would be located right in here or back up in here. A couple different spots of rotation near Gravette and Decatur. Again, this is in northwest Arkansas. The storm is continuing to track to the east-northeast. Again, stay in your safe place, away from windows, lowest floor possible if you're in that tornado warning. Still watching for storm development in southern Oklahoma. Most of these storms have been discrete, but they've been struggling to rotate. But the main concern right now would be the storm that is moving into Arkansas. Again, still has the potential to produce a tornado as it continues to track to the east northeast. The next Storm Prediction Center update is at 3 o'clock Central Time, so in about 45 minutes. But my problem right now is that this chair is, again, really uncomfortable, and I used to actually use this chair specifically on live streams, and it was definitely a painful time frame. But I definitely will not be able to be live for like 8 hours today straight. It just would not be possible with this chair. I would be live probably all the way for like 10 plus hours if I actually had my normal chair at my normal studios, but again, we're at a completely different place for this live stream. Welcome back, Zone. How's it going, Ninja? Welcome back. This tornado warning only includes northwest Arkansas now, so near the Sulphur Springs and Gravette area, and as well as Decatur. Again, this will be going for approximately another 15 minutes or so. And 2 pockets of rotation. We got one near Decatur, and then we got the other one near Gravette. Still broad rotation at this time. If you're in this tornado warning, stay in your safe place away from windows, the lowest floor possible. Throw some pillows on there. I wish it were that easy. Chairs, I mean, I'm telling you, like, there's only a few chairs that are actually good. There's very minimal chairs that are actually good. And this one is not one of them. I do believe they just issued a new warning somewhere. Might update here in a second. Lots of lightning, though, with these storms. These are highly electrified storms right now, moving across both Arkansas and Oklahoma, and even into Missouri now. So, lots of storms out there right now. Highly electrified. New radar scan should be coming in here momentarily. But again, rotation located near Gravette. We also have a small pocket just to the northwest there of Decatur. Both of these, again, in Arkansas right now. Sounds like we're starting to get some storm development as well near Jefferson City, by the way. So that's back over in central Missouri. We're starting to get some storm development there now. And that storm development will really ramp up over the next few hours. Again, the potential for a couple tornadoes across central Missouri back into Illinois will be possible, in addition to some large to very large hail as well. All possibilities today. That'll be the main concern over there. See what the next radar scan looks like. If it continues to weaken, we'll probably the rotation overall is definitely weakening. Let's see. Yes, the rotation's still there. It's definitely a little bit on the weaker side. We'll wait for the next radar scan and see what it looks like. Again, we got 2 different pockets. We got one near Decatur and one near Gravette. Again, these are still moving to the east. Gonna be going toward Bella Vista and Bentonville. Diller, I can too. They are way more comfortable. Trust me. My favorite chair is a bar stool. That is interesting. I don't think I could do that. that has literally no backrest. That would literally kill me. Yeah, this rotation's beginning to weaken more. It's definitely weakening out here. Again, near Gravette in northwest Arkansas. Bit weaker of rotation at this point on this storm. Main area of rotation right now is near Gravette, just on the northwest side there. I'm at a place that has 3,000 cape. That's a lot of instability. Yeah, rotation's weakening on this storm. This tornado warning will probably be let to expire. Goes for 11 more minutes. Again, stay in your safe place if you're in this tornado warning. But it's definitely on the weakening side of things at this point. I think Fort Wayne will be all right. I think you're too far to the north to really see much of the severe weather later today. It's in my opinion. All right, we're gonna stay on the storm for one more radar scan and see what it looks like, and then we'll go from there. All right, I missed something in here in chat. I think the Jefferson City storm is mostly gonna just be hail. That one's gonna be moving. I'll look at the radar on my phone again. Yeah, that storm's just beginning to develop, but that one's gonna be moving more to the east. St. Louis again will probably see its own storm. I don't think that one's gonna be the one that's gonna hit them. I think you'll probably get something separated from that. No problem, GM. I think most of northern Ohio, northern Indiana, and even northern Illinois, I think you're pretty much done with severe weather for today. The main concern will be in the central and southern parts of those states. Yeah, the main concern across the board today will be large hail, and then there will also be some damaging winds and perhaps even an isolated tornado or two. Those will be the main concerns. But this tornado warning probably gonna be let to expire. That rotation's weakening pretty quickly at this point. We'll still be keeping a close eye on all the severe weather activity throughout the afternoon and evening. Obviously, tornadoes still being possible, damaging winds and large hail. With all that being said, though, I am going to end the live stream here. My back is killing me, my neck is killing me. I need to stand for a little bit. If we go live again later today, obviously make sure that you're subscribed to the channel. Click the bell icon down below so you're notified when we go live and if we go live. My current plan right now is that I will be doing an emergency live stream if needed for any PDS tornadoes, or if there is some sort of severe weather that ramps up in North Texas. I just hit my mic. I will do some sort of severe weather live stream in that regard later today if needed for North Texas. Not sure when that'll be and what that'll exactly look like, but it'll probably be at least on Facebook, and we'll probably do a dual live stream to our YouTube page. Whether that is North Texas Weather Center on YouTube or here on this YouTube channel, I don't know yet. I'm really going to just play it by ear, and we'll go from there. But I appreciate you guys all tuning in. Again, this live stream was not supposed to be 3 hours today. It was literally supposed to be an hour, and then we're going to go live again at some point here, like right around now. But obviously, plans have changed a little bit. Stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. I appreciate anybody with any super chats or new members today. I appreciate all of you guys a lot. I do have a chair, by the way. I have a good chair. It's just not here. I'm in a completely different place than I'm normally at. This is not the Max Velocity Studios. I have a much better chair, but it's not here. I'm far away from that chair. So unfortunately, I cannot sit here for 10 hours. But I do appreciate you guys all tuning in. Again, if we go live again, it'll probably be closer to... I mean, my guess is if I do an emergency live stream or something like that for North Texas in particular, it'll probably be sometime around 6, 7, or 8 o'clock Central Time. So stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We'll keep posted with the latest. Thanks for all you guys watching, and we'll see you guys all again in the next live stream. Stay safe and have